that Human Torch creeping in as the drafts and those new hero releases come on out. We're heading into the draft, and it looks like we're going to be seeing All Business getting the first Protect out here, as we're going to see the Magneto Mirror Man.
Yeah, Magneto taken off of the table, so no Bulwark bubbles coming on through to stop dives, and also no Meteor M to be able to absorb entire ultimates, like a Galactic Legend from Star-Lord or parts of Supernova from that Torch. Zero Tenacity already going to be breaking from what we traditionally see, removing the Luna first to weaken the resources that Tuzi is going to have access to before they secure Smashnez's Torch to be able to go toe-to-toe with him. Potentially we see a Psylocke get removed as well from Zero Tenacity side, and then I wonder if they go for the Invis Woman last.
It's a good question. We did see Zero Tenacity play extremely aggressive with this Torch, using the high ground of being in T'Challa last time, those lower walls from the entranceways to the actual open hallways to snipe down and make it very hard to hit Smashnez. But like you said, they have a Invisible Woman as an option for that to potentially protect flyers. Loki will get banned out, keeping it nice and simple just in case there's a little bit of backline dive as well. Zero Tenacity, they have that Wolverine comp that could be at least protected slightly against from Loki.
Something to note is that Zero Tenacity have not saved a single Vanguard so far. If All Business really want to target the roll down, they could remove the Emma Frost from Zero Tenacity side, as we're going to see Zero Tenacity take out the Psylocke, and yeah, there it is. All Business remove the Emma, and having saved the Emma, if Zero Tenacity want any form of dive in that composition, they're going to have to be incredibly worried about the counterplay that comes on through when they try and hit the back line off of either Diamond Form, Carbon Crush from the Emma, or even a Bionic Hook from the Bucky.
One-sided Luna coming in for Zero Tenacity, so they now have the Torch and the Luna to keep them sustained. They could even, like you said, go for a little bit of a one-sided Psylocke in from their own side to try and snipe in. Will we see All Business focus the Vanguards with the Emma already down? They're looking at Strange really target that single roll, and that's a lot of those big barrier heroes getting removed. Options, if they choose to go for it, would be limited, but no, they take out the Adam. We were just talking about it. It's exactly what Zero Tenacity ran in their first matchup, using the triple res setup with the Human Torch instead of the Star-Lord.
Yeah, and this is going to make, if All Business want to run the Torch and the Ultron together, they're definitely going to have a much easier time staying up in the sky. Looks like they're going to prioritize picking up the Loki. We could see that they were toying with the idea of banning out the Strange from Zero Tenacity side, as we have known that Zero Tenacity are one of the few teams actually comfortable rolling solo Vanguard as, okay, Zero Tenacity, target ban the Torch. Tuzi is removed out of 2 of his roles and is likely going to be forced onto either the Punisher or potentially something like that Star-Lord, as unfortunately for both of the sides, Cloak and Dagger is going to be in play. But I think for Zero Tenacity, they want to prioritize having the Invis for the synergy between the siblings.
Tuzi has so far this season of Ignite shown Psylocke, Torch, Punisher, Hela, and for a very short period, Iron Man. The Punisher, as we've seen this season, is the most reliable, safe option to start off with the possibility to swap off if need be. And of course, Slowpoke starting on the Storm. If they're not planning on running a Mantis, it's at least a little bit of damage boost, and then combining that with the Cloak and Dagger means the Punisher can have an extremely good time.
I do worry though, if Zero Tenacity do stick with the Invis over the Cloak and Dagger, one of the ways that a lot of the teams have been counterplaying the invisible boundary is by having that Cloak and Dagger use Eternal Bond to be able to invade into that space, and then Terror Cape comes through, which applies that 28% damage vulnerability for the next 3 seconds, which does not get cleansed by the Invis ultimate, so it is going to be a major weakness in the composition when Zero Tenacity try and use something that should give them stability.
Knuten starting on the Winter Soldier, knowing that there'll be a little bit of mobility around. Potentially a flyer can try and ping him out the air with a tainted voltage, and they don't go for any kind of traps or quick pickups. They go for positioning due to the fact that they have the Torch, and they can now try to punish on the approach.
Yeah, Luca is actually on the Captain America as well, going to be trying to go in, disrupt as much of All Business as possible to deprive resources and set up potential for this Punisher. As at the moment, Zero Tenacity have to give respect. They're waiting for the dive to come on through. They turn around, see the Captain America, but at the same time, Luca's been able to pick Snos. That's absolutely huge. All Business are down a major source of resources, and it's going to be up to Tuzi. Try and give them the space to stabilize with this Punisher turret, but he's getting pressured out by Smashnez. He drops outside of it, and Zero Tenacity Tenacity are still in full control at this point.
But no one's been able to actually get any percentage on the board. There comes the pickup onto Welsh Mania from Smashness, moving in with that maelstrom of madness. They are chasing back the members of All Business. Zero Tenacity taking advantage of the fact they had the position that All Business had to move in to capitalize and punish anyone who overstepped, and they will claim the first percentage on the board.
Oasis should be able to get one of the first ultimates on the board, but is likely going to hold on to it until Ducky 1 has the Eye of Agamotto to get the damage boost for the 40% push onto that Maelstrom of Madness. Smashness slowly but surely building up to that Supernova, also making it incredibly tricky for All Business to approach. It's going to be a reliance on Welsh Mania. Dive into the backline, force the peel. Frontline core is going to have to try and turn their heads and deal with this one, as out comes Eternal Bomb from closer so that All Business can get aggressive. They've got the picks too. Tenacity though, they're stubborn, they're trying to fight this one out.
Using that final judgment to zone everyone away, but it's gonna be All Business with that who claim the point. Zero Tenacity tried to duel it, but it was not enough. Just an overwhelming rush by All Business, but they burnt 2 big ultimates for it. Traded out though, we did see a Kraken impact and an invisible boundary, so it works out as a 2 for 2, which is huge news for All Business.
Well, All Business though, they have to worry. They can't stack up right now. If they get hit into Eye of Agamotto, it's going to be a Maelstrom of Madness that will be able to find picks unless Nos is able to come through with that regeneration domain. They're trying to just break as much terrain as possible as well, keeping an eye on where this range could potentially be. Tuzi sees the Captain America, repositions the peels there. Supernova is going to try and split the team in half, and at the same time, they're able to hit into the back lines. Nos on that Loki is down. God of Mischiefs now being removed from this fight, and it's up to Freedom Charge to hold the point instead.
Giving them a lot of bonus health. Eye of Agamotto from above onto the backline with the Fate of Both Worlds, and they clean on up. Zero Tenacity will recap there with an insane move out, but they are now down to just the Freedom Charge. That is all that is left in terms of their ultimates. Welsh Mania already using theirs for All Business, but they still have Psionic Seduction. They still have Rage of Ultron, and they have any ultimate they want, most likely an Eternal Bond moving in there from Znos on that Loki, who's already going in for the clone to set it up.
Yeah, already going in. So too is Sloper. Rage of Ultron comes out to make sure that All Business can safely intrude with the Eternal Bomb and get close enough to the point to use the Terror Kit when Zero Tenacity try and come through for the recontest. Eternal
Sorry,
Bomb
chat, I missed a lot of it because
is going to have
the house blew
ultimate in this fight. Psionic Seduction is looking for the picks. They're trying to take down Smashness before the touch can hit that Supernova. Around the corner though, Zero Tenacity are able to stabilize. Carbon Crush almost kicks the Invis into the team, but manages to take Winnie down, and All Business are finding the picks that they need to keep this fight firmly in their control.
Ow, don't
it's currently
me.
83 to 60% in favor of Zero Tenacity, but All Business hold the point right now. Ultimates, Tuzi, another final judgment is an incredible tool to try and finish this. Supernova, Eye of Agamotto nearly ready with the Supernova
what did I miss?
already up, invisible boundary to protect that torch. We saw an incredible use of that Guardian barrier to keep Smashness up after Torch landed that Psionic Seduction, meaning that they were able
Bubba's still here, chat. Bubba's over there.
Torch nearby so they can siege in and regroup.
It's not going to be enough. The Invis boundary is going to get counterplayed. The Eternal Bond, there it is. Final judgment, Tuzi's in, but Knutson comes
wait, why is the quality so ass?
Grabs the
that's not 1080p source, right?
Final judgment can shred through the entirety of the team. Eternal Bond still up though. Closer has not fallen. Now the Cloak and Dagger ultimate is done, but Sloper's got the next cycle. Rage of Ultron isn't even needed. It's kept in the pocket for the next round. And Zero Tenacity try and keep over
How are you, Jay? Hope you slept well. I slept well. I had to wake up this morning and go buy a fridge with my dad, so. And then I came home like 5 minutes before the tournament started, and I started my stream and I heard I had to go downstairs and flip a breaker because a breaker tripped. That's why I wasn't here in the beginning.
It's just a little bit too good. Kraken impact for the last ditch effort. Resets on Loki, clone number 1. Bionic hook onto Loki, the real one this time, to try and get the finishing blow, but picked off.
No, I skipped Asphalt today. There's a lot of things I needed to do.
Reinforcement, and with the Eternal Bond, it looks like we're going to see Cap clean down, and All Business are just running it down.
All Business. So, if I'm not mistaken, All Business has been in the lower bracket finals. I mean, lower bracket for the whole time. We watched them a few days, I think the past 2 days in a row. Zero Tenacity was up in the upper bracket.
He was trying to come from
because they just lost, so they're in the lower bracket finals right now. This is the lower bracket finals, right, chat?
Side, and then maybe the Kraken impact off of the Loki clone resets would have been able to find the fight win that they were looking to use to hold on.
Lower bracket, yeah, this is, it says bottom on the screen. This is lower bracket finals.
Into that last fight. Ducky 1 was CC'd out of his ultimate, so he at least retains 50% charge forward and actually was able to build up a further 35% in the fight that followed, so he'll have it online. But unfortunately for them, Oasis is not going to have that Fate of Both Worlds to be able to boost it up.
You see here a lot of ults being protected. Only a rocket being swapped over for the side of Zero Tenacity. No rocket or penny for All Business. They're going in without any of that bonus health, but they were going to Terra Cape for a quick speed boost.
Yeah, All Business going to be rolling on out. Very close to that Eternal Bond. Tuesday should be able to get final judgment.
Nero, pretty sure that's 27 months.
Zero Tenacity need to win this fight so that they don't have to play retake into a Punisher that has all of the space in the world to set up and keep Smashnez on this torch grounded. He's having to play around all of the natural cover, making sure that he doesn't get poke pressured out. Keeps an eye on the Captain America too, so that they know when Watchmaker is going to try and hit the backline and force Zero Tenacity's attention to split.
Ducky currently trying to hold the point, keep control, holding with that silent seduction until they see a couple more members of Zero Tenacity emerge from their hidden spots. They found them from behind that pillar and will try and commit to this to try and stop the setup on that Punisher, but it's not going to be enough. Forcing out the regeneration domain, and no one's going to get pulled in as Lugia can keep the team.
Oh my god. I think he only hit one person. The one bad thing about watching this tournament, chat, is that there's a lot of people looking at Captain America being used, and I feel like a lot of people are going to start running Cap in my fucking ranked games, and I really don't want a Cap, bro. Cap is so fucking annoying to play against. He is so fucking annoying to play against.
Tuesday is going to have the final judgment, but crucially, Closer does not have the Eternal Bond. It's going to be a reliance on the God of Mischief coming on through from Zenost instead.
For some reason, I feel like learning Cap in Jay's games. Oh, that's fine, Crash. You can do it on the yellow team. I actually unfriended you and avoided you. I think I still have like 3 days left on my avoid on you.
If Closer and Zenost are both on the Cloak and Dagger, that's 2 Terra Capes from their end.
They could get a serious amount of damage up, and especially if they're able to stagger them together to combo with that Punisher and with that Ultron, Rage of Ultron AoE into that Terra Cape could really set them up as the first one is going to come on out. Noth does go for the
It's funny how Cloak and Dagger is MVP most of the matches in this tournament, also a lot more than Invis for whatever reason. I think most of the time Invis Woman is banned. Is Bree here? Because Bree usually does the bans.
With the help of those big strategist ultimates to keep everyone topped up.
Usually Luna mostly, and Invis One are usually banned, and Loki a lot.
Zoned off the point, regroup and try to go back in, but no! Tuesday returns, and with the help of Slowpoke,
I mean, Zero Tenacity has Invis.
Boundary gets invested. Ducky One's going to be coming through with the Eye of Agamotto, and it catches the entirety of All Business's back line. Fight instantly swings back into their favor, and they did it while retaining full possession of the point the entire way through. A late stagger pick onto Slowpoke nets them almost 80%.
No, Invis is not open in those matches.
Final fight territory. All Business, yes,
I'm pretty sure at like 8 out of 10 matches, Invis is also banned.
A portal play to avoid the poke so that they don't allow Zero Tenacity to build up ultimates before this fight properly starts.
Culling turret through the portal so they can at least siege in the Loki firing squad. Also sending a couple shots down, but here they go in for the commit. Trying to find Newton on the flank, but Smashnez is uncontested, using the portal for extra cover here as they rush off the point in some cases to try and zone away the members of Zero Tenacity. All Business are giving everything they can. Lugia pushing on to try and keep everyone zoned away with that freedom charge to create any space they can. Smashnez finds closer.
Give us some season 3. Okay, I'll give you guys one leak in season 3. So chat, currently we're in season 2.5, right? Next season, the 2.5 is going to turn into a 3.
They're going to try and end this here.
Zenost tries to go for the copy, manages to find the Fate of Both Worlds from the opposing sides. Luna, both of the dance floors are sounding on off, but unfortunately, Tuesday's final judgment is still reigning supreme. He comes on through with the later, not just catch Knudsen as this just ends, and All Business will be able to hold on, but it was a huge
Also, chat, I don't know anything about season 3. Usually when they come out with the preview server, then I stream it.
They don't
tell the streamers anything.
to give them a nice safeguard if a Freedom Charge aggressively tries to hit the backline.
On the other side, we have 55% on range of Ultron, 84 on Tututut with that Eye of Agamotto for a potential turnaround.
Who's Jay supporting? I am supporting a good game. I don't.
33% on Closar, 20 on Snot. They're relying on Welsh Mania with the free.
I don't think I know anyone from these games. So.
Bonus help with a sort of pseudo strategist ultimate here. Eye of Agamotto sent on in, but Force Physics
twice.
Oh, that's so unfortunate though, because Force Physics actually meant that it connects onto Oasis. That being said, Ducky one's Eye of Agamotto with the Maelstrom follow-up is slightly more successful.
I love how much Strange is getting played though. I love Strange.
Deal with these late minute staggers from
nice chat. We got ourselves. We got ourselves a fucking game, bro. Yeah, I'm sad that I missed a little bit of that first round, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'd rather go fix my electricity than
feels like
not.
we're gonna be headed down that path, Tetcher.
I went to the what do you call it? I went to Brandsmart with my dad, chat, and I bought a fridge for my garage.
Between these teams as they try
and I had to take it off the
car
with a truck with my dad.
That they can claim a victory already.
Oh, so you can see the bans. Yeah, so Luna is banned. The other team has banned Loki, and they saved Loki. They banned Adam, so there wouldn't be a res comp. Magneto, Emma Frost. The other team did Torch. Oh, so Luna actually, yeah. Both teams have Inviswoman. I mean, Luna's over here because they saved Luna and banned Luna. They have Inviswoman because they can't run on Luna. But yeah, I think they run Cloak and Dagger when they ban Magneto, because if you don't ban Magneto, then Magneto is going to keep trying to hit the Cloak and Dagger with the ult 24/7. Was it another 200k fridge? What do I own that's 200k? Actually, Brandsmart had a 4th of July sale, and my $700 fridge was actually $300. Also, there was a wine cooler. I don't even do that much wine, chat. There was a wine cooler that was $1,200 that was on sale for $200 that I got as well.
They just ran their whole body onto the point instead of
so instead of spending like $2,000, I spent I think like $800. W. I love fucking savings, chat.
Zero to Nasty now, they really wanted to win that first fight, and the fact that they invested that teleport recontest is going to make it pretty dicey to get Smashner's aerial up against all of the space and angles that all business are going to be able to control. Both Tuzi and Slowpo, and even Zanos to a degree, need to make sure that you find out the angles that those are playing from so that you can avoid it. Smashner's is getting some support from the team, at least with the idle aura coming in through from the Luna, and there is good cover around it as Zero Tenacity decides, you know what, we're just gonna charge on in. Freedom Charge and Final Judgment get paired together as all business hold on to their ultimates and pay for it with their lives.
I love Punisher, bro.
Realized that their team was very much zoned out, so they kind of just got stuck in limbo. Gets picked up for their troubles. As we see Slowpo taken out as well, Zero Tenacity taking control of the point. All business. They already got 40% on it though. They were able to get a lovely early pickup.
And they've got both strategist ultimates, a Freedom Charge upcoming, and a Final Judgment. Zero Tenacity, in the meantime, they do have Oasises, but that's not going to stand up to snuff underneath all of the damage that can potentially come through from all business side, especially if the Nos goes for an aggressive copy. Fate of both worlds is going to be safeguarding the Punisher, but Smashness forces them to have to stick on the Q rather than the damage boost, and that means that no picks have come through. Zero Tenacity buy themselves the time to come back in with the Eye of Agamotto. Supernova still out. Smashness still a threat for all business to have to deal with, as they don't have the luxury of being able to look up.
Trying to lock onto them with that Ultron, retreating into at least some of the healing with that invisible boundary. Rage of Ultron going in for that aerial duel with the Psionic Seduction to try and lock down the back.
To be honest with you, I don't like Ultron.
Until they take everyone else out, but finally they can turn it.
The pros are making it work.
To try and dodge out and get back onto the point for a turnaround, but they are extremely outnumbered. Yet another flip as all business are taking back control with, yeah, you mentioned it, an aggressive God of Mischief from Zanos, who just tried to overpower tower, and that forced out so many resources and so much scattering from Zero Tenacity.
The quality of the stream is 1080p. I have it set to 1080p, chat. Same thing as yesterday. It's just that I'm pretty sure the quality might be a little butt because I am like the stream. I'm also co-streaming a stream.
Lugia is already all the way behind. We're going to try and leap on through. Pyro Prison has shut out a lot of the space that Old Business could try and rotate away from that Captain America. In fact, it's forced them off the point entirely. Zero Tenacity have been able to get Knuten into such a good position that they might be able to find the flip. If anyone tries to get close, it's Force Physics into annihilation.
They are dominating right now, full control.
Whoa, Ultron isn't bad. I'd take him over a Jeff or an Adam. I'd take an Adam over Ultron any day of the week. Adam with that respawn, what do you call it, that triple res comp? Bro, that comp is disgusting.
We are at 83 compared to 69.
And I love this. This game right here is what I'm talking about, chat. Hopefully it continues for the rest of the season because it looks like both teams are going back and forth. It's not like roles that we were watching yesterday.
Well, Business need to have a hero play moment. Rage of Ultron can potentially be that turning factor, but it's going to be up to Tuesday with the final judgment to be the final that All Business needs to be able to take this fight through. Smashness is getting pressured, doesn't go for the full commitment. Out comes an Eye of Agamotto into the Supernova follow-up that's already forced out that regeneration domain. Invis Boundary has to be invested so that All Business can go on to that point in anticipation.
The mobility in that character is insane, bro. I feel like they need to make all like flying characters hitboxes a little bigger.
Afterwards, and that All Business burned a lot of their ultimates just to hold that space.
This does mean this is likely going to come down to one last fight with All Business
what's
also
up, Cameron?
approaching their
Appreciate
own
it, my friend.
overtime here. And look what they were able to keep. They did burn that Rage of Ultron, they burned that Invisible Boundary, but they still have Final Judgment. They still have God of Mischief, and they are very soon about to have their own freedom charge.
Ooh, they almost forced a C9 there with that invisible
to try and trap Lugia, who's rushing on in to create some space. Portal comes out from Duppies, and their team can come in for the reinforce, not onto the point, as they don't want to get caught out by Toot.
No, he went into the back line.
Let's see if he kills anyone through this. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Tuzi fucking fell over with his ult. Yeah, there was nothing that he could possibly do. Oh, they can still touch though.
Play that comes on through from closer, but the body block is there. So too is the Culling Turret.
Oh, damn. Hey, that was a good first map though. It was basically, hey, that shit went back and forth, chat.
Close game coming down to literal seconds. Trying to swap in with the
Loki at the end. By the way, I'm a better Namor and Punisher because of you. Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
They might have been able to
that's what I like to hear, bud.
They've just been able to swap bodies in time. They might have been able to make something happen. But Smashness, showing just how powerful this Human Torch is, able to zone, able to just burst on through people, take Jules in the sky versus Ultron. This was their game in control, creating so much room for Knuten down on the ground.
Yeah, Knuten being able to pick off Tuzi. That was the thing that just immediately
39 and 6 with 35,000 damage and 14 final hits. And then the other guys 32 and 12 with 14 final hits and 34,000 damage. Yeah, they had so much fucking damage, chat, compared to the All Business.
250 heals per second. Same thing with Fate of Both Worlds from the Luna. But because it's not a Punisher versus Punisher, it's one Punisher, no Punisher, and it's just immediately not even close. Final judgment comes through. All Business try to stack every single resource that they have available to hold on for Tuzi to come back on through, but it's just not enough as Zero Tenacity are free to pocket Knuten to victory.
They had so much control, Zero Tenacity, and yet still All Business got them repeatedly. This really did come down to those last couple seconds. Slowpo, like you said, tried to mirror the same idea, but with a little more single target as opposed to some AoE zoning.
Wait, apparently Twitch is coming out with a 2K streaming beta.
Insanely good at this game to have a lot of freedom of their own, but you mentioned Knuten finding the targeting when needed, wrapping around from behind and making sure that they got rid of them early to take that final fight.
Yeah,
what's that mean? I can stream in 1440p.
Instead of portaling onto point or portaling directly onto the enemy team, portals behind them so that he can use the threat of Eye of Agamotto to force everyone from the side of all business to have to turn around and adjust. They know that the strategists can't actually peel for themselves because Eye of Agamotto with Maelstrom of Madness, now that it has no damage fall-off, is actually still going to be able to find the picks. So all of a sudden, those resources which should be going in to prioritizing keeping Tuzi alive so that when we go to that last fight on point, when it's the 6 versus 6, it's Final Judgment versus Final Judgment, they can't afford to place them on the Punisher. They have
does anyone
no
here live in the, like...
Their hand is
obviously people here in my chat live in the UK and EU and everything.
And that's when the rest
it's
of
already
Zero
1080p.
get aggressive because we're actually following the Stranger's POV. And up in the pick feed, we see Knuten takes down Tuzi because there's
my YouTube is 1440p.
It's really good timing. It's dive timing, to be entirely honest.
I told Alex, hey, I was AFK in the beginning of the tournament. If you upload this to YouTube, can you just say in big letters that my breaker tripped and I had to reset it? And then he said, what's a breaker?
Find out after this short break.
Do you guys not have breakers in EU? A breaker? It's a fuse. It's like a fuse box. Like, where's all your circuit break? Oh my god! Hold on, give me a second. This thing, this images. This. Do you guys not have this in the fucking UK with all your? It's a breaker panel. No, it's not a fuse box. It's a breaker panel, chat. It's a circuit breaker. You call... Yeah. It's a chat. It's a circuit breaker. It's a breaker. Yeah, bro. I'm British and married to an American, and sometimes it really does feel like two different languages. Well, no, you guys, listen, if you're British, you just don't speak freedom. I need you guys to speak freedom. You know, use miles per hour or use, you know, feet, inches. You know what I'm saying? I don't... Aren't you guys the one that took our language and messed it up? No, we improved it. We fucking improved it. The entire world is literally metric. That's not true. That's not true. All I know is that America is a part of the entire world, and America doesn't use metric. Jay3, do you know what Brits call sprinkles? What do you guys call sprinkles?
Well, be it Celsius or Fahrenheit,
hundreds and thousands.
What's here at the Marvel Rivals Ignite EMEA? Things are definitely heating up.
Are you talking about like the sprinkles that you like let's say you get some ice cream and you have little chocolate sprinkles, you call them hundreds and thousands?
Between these two teams, and after that scorching Krakoa,
nah, you guys need to get help, bro.
Sure that unless something goes terribly,
you guys need to listen, chat. Yo, where's my UK friends?
Exactly.
You guys gotta lay off the fucking toast and beans, bro.
We've already been seeing Zero Tenacity
you guys gotta stop.
Targeted draft.
It's messing with you guys.
Versus all business state. A little bit more in terms of the usual pattern we might see from a draft, but as such, Zero Tenacity were able to get Smashness back on that Human Torch, who is definitely representing the sun here in the UK today. An overwhelming, full concentrated power of the sun being dropped consistently. It's hard to deal with. While they tried to mirror it with that Ultron, it just did not have the same effect.
100 of thousands
yeah, I mean, Rage of Ultron was definitely finding a lot of really good impact, especially because they would use it very late on in the fight when a lot of players from Zero Tenacity would be very split, and that's exactly how you want to utilize that Ultron.
Whenever Americans try beans on toast, they use the wrong beans, and it really annoys me.
Hey,
I went to London,
sustain through it.
And I actually tried beans on toast.
You're down your major cooldown resources.
I don't know how you guys can do that. Also, I've tried that, what is it, blood sausage that you guys have? I can't do that either. The blood, the coagulated blood. I can't do it.
It's just really good picks, which all business would then be able to use to lengthen out the duration between each fight, and then that builds as
black
a
pudding. There you go.
Into how much time Tuesday has to set up on the Punisher. But Zero Tenacity did such a good job of just disrupting every single one of those setups. Whether it was, you know, Ducky 1 going through with the teleports into the back, or whether it was just the Captain
I'm only here for the drops. Okay, so you don't mind if I do this, and you can just sit there and wait, right? Toxic! Texas Long Rifle, pre-chance at 23 months, my friend. How you doing? How you doing?
We just got to see Zero Tenacity have such a good control of the entire map space.
We, of course, spoke to Polly from Burber Patapim yesterday after their win and asked them, like, why is that? Where do we see this Captain America over, for example, the Venom, where some other regions are picking and a couple of these other teams are picking up? And he just believes that that single target pressure is so good, combined with the fact that Freedom Charge is essentially a strategist ultimate in its own right. Every second, you and everyone who is in that path gets movement speed and that bonus health, which is a huge boon when you're trying to stay alive in these big team fight. So this is why you see Caps run on in. If they don't find a pickup, they'll just quickly run back and then dive back in. It's not just to get healing, it's to be almost the healer in their own right.
Yeah, and I mean, we even saw it from Zero Tenacity. Freedom Charge, Final Judgment, off we go. Those are the two things that we need. That they just went for such aggressive tempo shift plays, and all business, they were relying so much on just the space, the time to be able to set up, coordinate how they wanted to take each fight. And Zero Tenacity just came on through and every single time wrench in the plans. No, you don't get to fight plan. No, you don't get to ult track. We're fighting right now. You've got to deal with us when you're not prepared to do so. And they took full advantage, given the fact that when we look at, you know, some of the heroes that were on the board, the fact that all business started off with the Cloak and Dagger and the Loki, which is probably the strongest or one of the strongest backlines that you can have in a 2-2-2 format. And it was so detrimental, the Captain America, the Torch, the Punisher, that all business bent the knee and swapped to the Luna.
Yeah, to just try and keep that one Punisher on their side up in these fights. They just had to focus the healing in to keep them prepared. But when you have a speed boosted from the Captain America Punisher while they're also being pocketed and also the sun is falling on you,
the Captain America gives you a speed boost when you get in it?
Fate of Both Worlds is,
as well,
called it so many times, one of the best, if not maybe outside of maybe Jeff, the best ultimate in the game in the right circumstances. But if you are just being blown up that hard, we also saw Invisible Woman getting almost countered, but played beautifully to avoid these big target blasts onto the Invisible Woman. This was just Zero Tenacity taking the tools they need, analyzing the weaknesses, and playing around them to perfection.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact as well that they took advantage
Jay,
of one
seriously,
of the
you didn't know that?
weaknesses.
Not really.
Of having, like, the fact
I don't
that
usually,
you have the
like...
Luna, the damage boost off of the Luna is only...
I usually shoot the guys. I usually don't, like, run into them. They're usually on the other team, and I go Punisher, and I just shotgun them.
Which is maddeningly short in comparison to the damage that it can do. And they really started.
Okay, chat, let's see where we're going here. Oh, Yggdrasil Pass Convoy. I love this map. This is by far one of my favorite maps in this game.
Even go for the full copy of it as we head over to, now this is surprising, Yggdrasil Path, because
it looks like both mags are being banned.
All business lost Burnin, took us to Yggdrasil Path.
I actually really like how they did this.
Came out with an absolutely
both teams banned, then one team saves, the other team bans. They like do stuff at the same time sometimes. It's pretty cool.
Squirrel girl. So maybe all business now feel more prepared in dealing with it.
They saved him.
We'll have to see Zero Tenacity once again to get their hands on that Human Torch. where we will see potentially Human Torch getting sniped out the side by a Squirrel Girl is open to see, as that Emma Frost will get protected nice and early for all business. Make sure that they do have a little bit of Vanguard priority. And there's that Luna counterban. While it did not win the match, it was still a little bit tough to deal with because
both teams banned.
Really good.
Yeah, they're still low-key up for grabs, but it's more a case of you're worried about the Luna giving the Psylocke the tools to be able to take your
saved
entire
Emma,
team down
ban
to
Emma, and they
with
ban
a Luna
Psylocke.
pocket on that
Damn,
Psylocke
that's
is an
actually really
absolute
smart, so
terror
they
to
don't
deal
get a
with,
Psylocke team up.
Xerath
That's
Nasty
really
took out the
smart.
Luna.
I would ban Punisher on this map, though. This is a very long sightline map where, like, Hella, but no teams are really running Hella.
Do if the Luna was the only thing to go, so both the Luna and the Psylocke are out.
And with, of course, Welsh Mania being an incredible Captain America to help set up for them, it is going to be a solid idea to take away that.
Yo, Kane! I appreciate the massive Prime sub, my friend. Welcome, welcome.
Torch, so we still have solid options for Tuzi as well. There's the Invisible Woman banned out, removing that Fantastiforce, and of course that pocket support healing.
Banning Inviswoman when they save the Torch. That's good, chat.
Or do they save the Luna? Okay, they save the Luna.
And they save Luna from them, but they ban Luna for the other team.
There's a couple of directions that they can go. They can ban the Strange, or they can ban the Invis Woman, and they decide to ban the Strange. So no teleport recontests coming on through. No Eye of Agamotto.
Banning Strange is low-key actually really fucking good.
This is actually, I think,
so you can't teleport and recontest or teleport to, like, take another team fight. That's really fucking good. I like it.
In the last map, which I think them not going through with is a decision that they potentially regret.
I would agree. We did see them struggle a little bit here, and as such, they're having to adjust their composition. They once again have no of the more standard shields. They're looking at the Groot, as it's one of the few characters left who can at least set up some kind of interceding barrier between you and your opponents in this case. However, it is one that also blocks your allies from being able to see stuff as well. The Hulk, however, is going to be a solid backup option.
Or are they showing the wrong map?
It's going to give your team a lot of protection. It opens
or is that
the option?
Like, that's the Koth map, chat.
From Insomnia, or even for
they were showing the Koth map, but this is the payload map. Now they're showing the right map.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
They were literally showing the wrong map.
About being forced onto the Groot, because Groot is actually
like that's the Koth map.
All the way back in
it's because they're in the same area.
He was a globally ranked Groot player.
But we're not playing on that map.
Groot was the strongest Vanguard in the game, so there's definitely going to be a lot of very fun set plays that Jay3 Nasty have to be able to set that one up. As Jay3 Nasty, having secured the Luna for the advanced pick and ban, set Knuten on the Hawkeye. Every 20 seconds, set your watches. Ice Arrow is going to be coming blasting on through.
Oh god, Ice Arrow, bro.
Okay,
this is going to be really interesting. So they're running a Hulk Namor with a Hawkeye. And they have Luna Inviswoman. That's really fucking good with a group. The other team is running Punisher with a Loki and a Cloak and Dagger. And they also have a Captain America with a Storm.
Far forward, this corner as well, you'll see a lot of the first step defenses here, and using that damage boost from the Storm to try and help keep Tuzi boosted up instead of the Mantis we've been seeing. Ducky will get taken out by 2 of the 2, but Smashnez is keeping some solid control on this Namor as they're pushing up a character who we see a lot of people play in defensive posture, has fantastic flanking potential.
Knuten is actually already able to take down Closer, and then we get another Ice Arrow onto the disengage, and they take down Tuzi. They're all frozen. Fish in a barrel is the phrase that comes to mind, as Welsh Mania has no choice but to swap over to the Strange just to be able to rejoin the teams. Not with the God of Mischief is going to be able to copy the Cloak and Dagger, gets the ultimate, and finally Slowpoke will put a shutdown to the shenanigans of the Hawkeye. But the damage has been done. All Business have lost a lot of space, and now they're going to have to
something that people never do in my ranked games is shoot the squids. No one shoots the squids, chat. They just rather die by the squids.
For a little bit of cover, Omega Hurricane. On the reinforcement, that is personal, directly.
That is fucking toxic.
Enough of that, we're so sick of it. Taking them down, straggling prison for the turnaround, though, realizing that Storm's a little bit split into the Horde of Proteus, and that is the
what a whale, and then they walled them off. That was nice.
Just leaving that diamond form, Emma, it takes a little bit longer to clean out, and Zero Tenacity smash on through this first point.
Yeah, they say the grass is greener on the other side, even with the Loki regender.
Who's likely to win the tournament, in your opinion?
Everybody from the one-shot potential of the Horn of Proteus' landing.
The team that we watched yesterday was actually really fucking good, Chad. What was it, 100 Thieves? 100 Thieves rolled Envy, so maybe 100 Thieves.
Business is disengaged, and Knuten with the Hunter's Sight has that ultimate up and running. If All Business try and put pressure around this corner, they're going to have to give up the space. Another Ice Arrow fully CCs out All Business's backline. And it's up to Tuesday on the
I'm having dinner at my grandparents' house. Last time they gave me raw chicken.
Momentum needs to be depleted right here, right now. And Final Judgment with Eternal Bond's going to start doing that, but not going to finish. As Knuten with the Hunter's Sight takes the Punisher down, and off of a Strangling Prison attempted to come through, is able to peel for his backline too.
They are tracking down beautifully. The Eternal Bond bought a little bit of time.
I hate Hawkeye, bro.
Everyone,
I hate Hawkeye.
The damage output is so much burst, and it takes a couple seconds for that healing tick to come on in. And All Business, they realize that they need something.
How's
with
a
just
new
fridge?
We plugged it in downstairs in the garage.
And they're bringing out the Ultron to try and just single target down that Hawkeye.
Yeah, I thought about the Storm for a second, but double flyer into both Caminemo and Hawkeye is not what you want. As walking through those small hallways into a Strangling Prison is absolutely not the position that you desire to be in if you're All Business, especially if you have flyers who need space. And that is not where you're going to be able to find it. They can potentially slow things down. They're going to teleport back to the C spawn rather than find themselves getting staggered off into the B. But that is going to give Zero Tenacity all of the time in the world to be able to set up the crossfire. Keep your eye on Smashnaz because he's already fully behind them.
Let's look at the ultimate economy here. We have Slowpoke currently on 86%. Toot is fully charged up. Everyone else below 50. Zero Tenacity. They have Fate of both worlds. Horn of Proteus and the Invisible Boundary. They are just
did I close my garage?
They have so many defensive tools that it's going to be very hard for All Business to pull the trigger. They'll burn the range of Ultron.
I left my garage open. I didn't even close it yet. Holy shit. It's been open for like 2 hours and I haven't even been outside.
Combined with the Horn of Proteus, so All Business don't find the coming up against
hopefully no one took anything.
Now, Hunter's Sight in the middle of an Invis boundary. If you try and run, you get slowed. If you're
Don't worry, I'm just chilling in your garage. Well, I just closed the door, so now you're trapped in my garage.
Slowpoke grounded, and they finish off the Ultron. All Business are potentially going to be finding themselves stuck in their respawn rooms right now. As Knuten on this Hawkeye is entirely untouchable. All Business have the ultimates. They've got to start with an Eternal Bond, but if you're not too careful, the Hawkeye can one-shot it with the primary alone.
What a fun character this is, chat. Do you guys love Hawkeye? Such a fun character, bro.
Off the position, but it cannot reach. Trying to get onto that torch to at least get something. Straggling Prison, and Tucky just is doing so much work on this group. Pushing on in, trying to deal with the Emma. They've got everything up here. Knuten was finally taken down. Horn of Proteus to finish off Nost. And with that being taken down, All Business are very staggered, having to burn the flaming media for that bonus help to try and make their way in, but it's one at a time. Captain America
let me ask Mark something. Is Mark in my chat?
Counts.
Zero Tenacity, it's just dealing with staggers right now. All Business can't break.
Wait, why does it say that my car garage was stopped and it wasn't closed? Yo, chat, is there anyone outside fucking messing with my garage?
Zero Tenacity, full push Yggdrasil path. All Business took us to this map. They thought that they knew what Zero Tenacity would pull out. They were confident that they would be able to counterplay it. But I don't think anyone is expecting the depth of tricks that Zero Tenacity have at their disposal, because that
I don't know, man, chat. I really don't like Hawkeye, bro. Just nerf Spider-Man. Yo, the Bat Dork for 8 months. Appreciate it.
Fully targeted spawn camp Omega Hurricane.
They were taken down in the early set by that. And
okay, before this game starts, let me go see
final push by like 3 people burning resources just to take them down. It is so targeted. If you look at the actual final hits, only 3 times. Smashnaz hasn't gone down once. Neither has Winnie. They have been playing so far back because Knuten is just roaring aggro.
I mean, in comparison to Nost and Closer, I feel for them. I really do. You're a strategist. You have so many players who try and just stack their bodies in front of you. Ice Arrow cares not a whit for that. The further away you are, the more damage that you take. It goes through shields. It goes through cover. It turns Marvel Rivals into an absolute horror game for a player in a backline where every 20 seconds you are literally trying to keep a track of that Hawkeye's location. So is it there? Has it come out yet? Can I peek a corner?
They have decided to swap back over to the Punisher. Try and melt through these group walls, play front to back. But the longer they take on this, of course, means that Knuten is just picking away from the back line, about as far back as you can go, sending in the shots. Tuzi is finding the flankers and is at least putting a little bit of counter pressure onto them. But there's no setup here to deal with Knuten. Just think about what a lockdown into the pickup. And that's just what we've been seeing all game.
Yeah, that's the thing about Hawkeye. Man can shoot, man can jump. And he absolutely can hit his shots if he's Knuten. Every single time he lands one of these ice arrows, he's going to be able to confirm it into one pick coming on through. And all business are going to have to plan around it. Slowpoke gets ice arrowed out of spawn and gets taken down immediately.
Platoon is trying to create an opening here, but the fate of both worlds will come out from Zero Tenacity to hold the line with Slowpoke already down, making their way back in, but they're still outnumbered. Znos taken down by Smashnez, who is again consistently barely being touched, is just not being targeted because there's so much aggro being drawn. Another push in trying to lock down the retreating members of All Business. Zero Tenacity are locked down on this high ground.
All Business just can't get out around the first corner right now. Knuten's getting every single resource, and he gets every single pick he needs for his team. Snos goes down. How do you manage to break this Hawkeye? He's got the Guardian Shield. He's got a Naval playing full bouncer and bodyguard on the main road. All Business try to wrap around to the side, but that just means that they get set up into another ice arrow. Final Judgment come through, melts down the Hulk form. It gets paired up with Psionic Seduction so that Zero Tenacity can't use an ultimate to counterplay it. But Knuten doesn't need an ultimate. He just needs the space. He comes on through with the Hunter side trying to shut down the Eternal Bond yet again. It's up to Welsh Mania to prop his team up with the Eye of Agamotto.
Ducky, quick reminder that this is Marvel Rivals, not that other game, as they just built for an ambush there. Strangling Prism for the setup, but All Business have finally been able to break the line. Welsh Mania is setting up portals immediately to block off reinforcements to try and guarantee this point A, and they will be able to do so. It's going to be Zero Tenacity setting up for a further back defense instead of trying to contest it, which does waste Welsh Mania's portal.
And Zero Tenacity get a better angle now too, because you're coming into a fight with one long open line of sight into another long open line of sight around the corner. You are terrified of Knuten's Hawkeye right now, and Zero Tenacity know this. They're keeping All Business just stuffed into this one space with the crossfire. The name will spam continuously so that Knuten gets all of the space. Regen domain has already been forced, which is a clear go sign for a Horn of Proteus to look for the one shot, as it's up to Tuzi to clear the Hawkeye with the torch spam.
Pushing on forward, you saw the Gamma Burst coming in. Supernova from Tuzi to try and create some kind of opening to try and weaken these members as they are pushing on into a fate of both worlds, though. The healing output is good, but they will find it. Oasis is taken down. Waste Mania is picked up on the other side, and Smashness finishes off Tuzi. They've got the flank set up so beautifully every time, and the distraction continues to work. We have another trap set up by Ducky as they take an aerial position, making some stairs.
This is Strangling Prison. They're gonna wait for everyone to walk out of main. They're gonna Strangling Prison into Horn of Proteus. Everyone's gonna be stuck in the center. They're all gonna take
Oh my god.
There it goes! 1, 2, 3, say goodbye! As Closer tries to save the fight with an Eternal Bond.
Can't look up for the trees as they continue to pile on the pressure. They got 3, continuing to try and get anyone else on the retreat to prevent them stepping up with 2 minutes to go. Zero Tenacity, they still have a visible boundary. They still have Hunter's sight. They are in control. All Business, they need to make something happen with this final judgment, or they're not going to get much further than maybe a few more meters. Smashnez retreating up to the high ground, and immediately we see Lugia moving back to make sure they're safe. This team team has so much synergy.
Knuten just got closer and then immediately afterwards got Tuzi. Regeneration domain is invested for
I just came back at the cap
the space, but Zero Tenacity, they sense the blood in the water. They're going to continue to push to make sure that all business are deprived of any space that they can use to regroup around those corners in those small rooms to set up for a Psionic Seduction into that final judgment. Zanost has God of Mischief, but it's not the win condition that it normally is because Knuten is about 5'6" in terms of shutting down both the actual Eternal Bomb and the copied format as a huge ice arrow comes through, and before all business can even get the ship off the docks, Slowpoke gets taken down. Final judgment denied.
Knuten going for the entire strategy of you can't ult if you're stuck in your spawn for the entire game. Just finding these pickups over and over and over. Getting punished right now by that human torch, but the strategists are completely uncontested due to the amount of pressure that's being put onto the backline. Here comes that final judgment for the commit to try and make something happen with that Eternal Bond for the setup. And Knuten is being run down this time, gets the knockback, being pulled in, but still finds Tuzi. They're literally being targeted by 3 people. And they still snipe the backline.
Brady Devil Girl for 34 months. I appreciate it. How you doing?
Still got the fate of both worlds. All business have an Eye of Agamotto and a Supernova to work with for Zero Tenacity. Have a Knuten and a Strangling Prison. And Lugia with the Monster Hulk as well as making sure that the payload doesn't move a single inch. We're down to one final fight, and all business are down to having to bypass this same dreaded angle, the gauntlet.
It's not a manual for a fridge, this is a manual for
he's gonna go all the way to that spawn
a wine chiller. It's not turning on.
He doesn't manage to find it. The body block is good. Someone else gets exiled, and Welshmania manages to find the portal, but they don't get through in time. 1, 2, 3.
What an incredible round from Zero Tenacity. Literally everything optimized. They didn't get, like you said, that Gamma lockdown, but they were still able to control that map from start to finish. All business got one fight where they were able to get something happening, but we saw ambushes from above with Groove. We saw snipes from long range. This is why
Zero Tenacity is rolling all business right here. Bro, see, this is the problem, chat. I feel like there's like, I don't know, man.
Knuten showing that it should be feared, and we might just be going right back to Lunabanks.
There's like 3 teams, and let's just say 3 teams or 4 teams out of 20 teams that are just like the fucking top teams in EMEA. And anyone
would change history.
Like you would think that the lower bracket finals would be a close series. Right now it's 2-0, chat. That's tough.
How strong this team up actually can be.
That's fucking tough,
and
bro.
Knuten was terrifying. We see now why Slowpoke
also,
invested
I plugged in my appliance, chat, and there was a spark.
That's the trade you make.
But I don't know if it's not working. So I don't know if
were closed for business when Knuten was in control.
Sparks are normal.
Take the most of that moment to just try and snipe the backline so they could turn around and join their team on the flank. But while that was happening, Strangling Prison into Horde of Proteus, exactly what we see. The distraction. Knuten, yeah, they were carrying, but Smashnez and Ducky were still absolutely dominating these fights. Every single time they focus Knuten, it's exactly what we saw from the previous game, but the opposite way round. Smashnez is in the sky, distracting from the Punisher on the ground. It's just reversed this time with Knuten being the bait.
Look at all of that. Like, these replays, it's here when you head into B, right? There it is. Slowpoke goes down. Closer goes down. This was insane. God. If a tree falls in a forest with a Horde of Proteus following it,
you've blown the fuse. No, chat.
And feel it because they all got sent back to that respawn
I've blown a fuse, bro.
All business were just never able to break the angle. They had to put so much into sending an entire hit squad after the Hawkeye. But even before they got to see the Hawkeye,
I didn't blow a fucking fuse.
They got through the check of both the Namor and the Hulk, who were able to utilize mobility on the Hulk and Blessing of the Deep from the Namor, which is just an immediate 3 seconds where that Namor is not going to go down but can still get healed up by the rest of his team. So even though you were able to brute force your way over to the Hawkeye, you had nothing to actually take him down permanently, and unfortunately your backline got traded in the meantime.
You mentioned the tree and the Horde falling. You mentioned it being heard, but they sure weren't telling anyone.
I hope no. Yeah, because I plugged it in, I saw a spark, and I was like, oh, okay, I don't think that's good.
We'll be seeing how all business can attempt to recover, or will.
And then I plugged in my iPhone charger, and both things. The iPhone is charging, chat. but the cooler isn't working.
Look who just showed up.
Bro, I just bought it, man. I have to go fucking return it to get a new one? No wonder it was on sale. I thought I was getting a good deal. The original price was $1,200, and they were selling it for 200 bucks. It was too good to fucking be true. Dude, I just got fucking scammed! Hold up, chat. Hold up. Oops, I just fucking clipped it. I didn't mean to. Hold up, chat. Give me 1 second. I just got fucking scammed. Bro, my shit fucking doesn't work, chat. I'm pissed.
Zero tenacity, but what felt like a million KOs. They have so many options. We just saw All Business attempt to ban out Ducky, and that was a mistake.
Yeah, that was
chat,
a mistake.
it's fine.
Oh, we let the globally ranked
ask your dad to
player
replace the fuse in the plug.
play
No, I'm just gonna take it to the store tomorrow and have them
Zero
just give me a whole new one.
Just immediately full
Pretty sure I can
into
return it.
They were like, oh, we got Groot? Okay, let's go Nemo. We got Nemo, we got Luna, we got Hawkeye, we got Groot.
I had the receipt somewhere. I think I put it upstairs or downstairs.
Proteus. They've got a Hulk as
Hopefully
well.
it doesn't.
To make sure
Hopefully
you just have the permanent mobility to deny
hopefully I
anyone
still
from
have
All
it.
Business walking to deny the space that the Hawkeye is looking for, and the second that you deny that space, the Hawkeye just it's a shooting gallery. But let's be honest, every single time we went to Knutten's POV,
babe, are you downstairs?
He's just got 3 people in front of him.
Is the receipt
There's
downstairs?
hardly any cover. If they find themselves going just around corners to avoid
I think it should be on the table, or
that just allows the 20-second ice arrow cooldown to come back.
They had so much
is it on the
domination.
table down there?
We talk about the damage output that they were putting, just how much they were able to snipe people, like you said, but the defenses deserve highlighting with those strategists positioning perfectly. Like you mentioned, guard in the actual game, Guardian barrier on the Hawkeye, keeping them safe.
It should be on the dining room table.
Back and forth between the fights, not just diving in, not just single-mindedly rushing in like a mindless beast, just leaping back for those indestructible guards onto the Namor, onto that Hawkeye, who were very split from each other the whole time to make sure that if one got dove, the other could help.
Zero Tenacity gonna be saving the torch. It's really up to all business in terms of how they want to react to this. As Zero Tenacity, I think of all of the teams in EMEA, they're probably one of the best at just being absolutely uncounterable when it comes to the advanced pick and bans, which is the amount of depth of hero pools that they have, not just of hero pools that they have individually, but compositions that they can play together as a team. As Luna is going to get banned out on the side of Zero Tenacity. All business have not yet banned the Luna. There it's going to go, surely. As Zero Tenacity target out Tuesday.
We're back to the standard. Luna was allowed out of the ban jail for a couple days and has immediately gone back in at the hands of Zero Tenacity to at least try and put some of the brakes on that Hawkeye. But we still have so many options. We've shown that Zero Tenacity, they still got the Torch and Punisher combo. Captain America going to be picked up by all business as their protect for at least a little bit of backline pressure from Welsh Mania and that extra bonus health from the ultimate.
Yeah, I would imagine seeing that Captain America Zero Tenacity are going to start saving the Emma Frost on their last, as they have not been banned out of it. And you know that dive is going to be coming on from the side of all business if Watchmania is able to get into the back line. What better way to potentially grab him with a cup and crush? But it looks like they might actually prioritize the invis, which can still be used both to peel the Captain America with the force physics to knock him back, but also for that Guardian shield and the synergy so that the torch has a little bit more sustainability up in the sky.
Okay, it says most returns are, I can return it for 15 days, chat. It says on most purchases.
Cloak and Dagger is gone.
Hopefully that's one of them.
It's been doing so much work removing that extra burst, and Zero Tenacity, they're looking like they're going to run at least part of this back, even though they have all of the tools for their usual setup with the Punisher and the Human Torch. All business having their torch banned out. Zero Tenacity protect it, but they were actually thinking about for a moment going for that Namor Hulk, but it looks like they are reverting to this is the exact draft they used against all business in the first time they met, with that Adam Warlock composition with the Mantis.
How you doing, baby?
Whatever strategist they have also just hanging out, in this case the Invisible Woman, to make sure that that torch gets all the value.
Yeah, there was some debate there going on through as they try to figure out how they wanted to deal with the part of the dive comp that all business are going to send into their backline whenever these fights start breaking on out. Gamma Squid with the Hulk Namor is actually very strong
really
against the Captain America, as is the triple res, the Guardian's composition with the Atom, because you have Soul Bond, which is on a cooldown, but still is essentially an entire defense ultimate. Plus, you have a duelist in the form of a strategist who's going to be able to put more pressure on the Captain America before they can fully dive on through. And Zero Tenacity are going to be going for that play. Triple strategist, Mantis for the damage boost over to Smashness, which means that torch should
Emily has some competition. Yeah, she does with Boba.
As all business on the defense do at least have the luxury of the high ground currently to establish that Punisher.
Oh, yo, what's up, Bree? Welcome back. Welcome back.
Position before Zero Tenacity try to lay siege to the site.
They've once again brought out the Ultron, looking for single targets to try and just pick off people on that backline. They're getting some good damage onto Oasis, but with triple strategists here, the healing output is good. Welsh Mania is on the flank, like we called, trying to cause distractions, trying to cause delays, flaming media quite aggressively here, and we're seeing Zero Tenacity able to split all business's attention quite effectively. This doorway getting sieged with the flames, with the damage boost. Smashness has control of this. That's the lockdown onto the cap, chasing them all the way off the point. That's going to be point number one, almost certainly picked up by Zero Tenacity. We're just seeing people trickle in one at a time from all business.
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
Right in the front lines, he's not playing to counter the Captain America. He's playing to be a duelist in his own right. Both the Mantis and the Invis, as well as Smash.
I don't think all business is winning this. It looks like all business is getting rolled.
The second that Welsh Mania shows on up, and then the fact as well that Adam's heal manages to bounce from player to player, means that Zero Tenacity can keep themselves moving, can continue pressuring out both of all businesses' frontline core without leaving themselves vulnerable, susceptible to that dive in the backside without those resources in play. It's going to be a very very aggressive Eternal Bond.
Yeah, all business is not standing on any business right now. I think they're out of business. Get it? Man, I'm so fucking funny, chat. No wonder you guys watch me. Yo, Big Panther though, Bridge Master Prime stuff. I think I said that. I don't know. I have short-term memory loss.
Well, Bond's at a spy convention, but Knudsen is putting a lockdown to it, chasing them in, looking for pickups. Welshmania is still in the backline. We had to watch some fun interrupted gameplay from Winnie. You're a little bit stuck there, Welshmania, getting chased
wow,
down.
That guy actually lived.
Away. Cap is just so fast and hard to take down.
Yeah, but I mean, that was sedation into Coffin Crush coming.
What I don't understand is that if all business is getting rolled by like what Zero Tenacity is doing, why don't they just ban like the flyers and stuff?
Agamotto combined with the focus fire, quite literally, of the Supernova Heat will take all business back to the drawing board as they invested in that one, Tetcha. That was their Eternal Bond final judgment play.
All they have left right now is that Rage of Ultron and the Freedom charge for that extra protection. And Zero Tenacity looking to not give them the chance to use it. Going in for the silent seduction, getting the first bullet, getting the second, and they're trying to turn onto Welshmania once again. Carbon Crush. They do dash away using that Liberty Rush to make sure that they don't get picked up with that Crystal Kick into the lockdown so that they can get targeted. And this is allowing another ultimate from Oasis. And Zero Tenacity,
yeah, Zero Tenacity is just running it down. They're not even worried about anything. They're just running it in, dude.
Make sure they can retreat. And well, Welshmania is just buying every second they can for the
wow, they actually touched with that Cloak and Dagger ult though. Crazy.
Yeah, is able to buy enough seconds too for the God of Mischief into Eternal Bond. And
I think the problem is that Zero Tenacity knows that they're better than that other team. That's why they're like kind of just W keying and they're not even worried about anything. They know that they're gonna outplay them, so they're not afraid of anything, chat. They're already up 2-0. They can be as aggressive as they want, and it's working for them.
They've got 4 minutes on the time bank. They haven't had to use Comic Revival once.
Wait, Zero didn't use any flyers last time?
Moving forward.
There was a... Oh, no, you're probably right. No, they did ban Torch.
From a Hawkeye, which is a projectile character, to a hit scan, and they're still just like, well, that's easier. And just finding hits over and over again. They just are locked on with these headshots. They have 6k damage. That's more than Slowpo.
They're about to have 6 ultimates in this fight too. He's on the off angle as well. If they try and pressure him out, the frontline coach is going to walk on the outnumbered fight, and it's going to be Supernova to split the team for Eternal Bond to not find the virus. All business try and pull out of the choke into the open space. Hello will be able to take one. Tuzi having swapped over to the hitscan to try and keep a check on Knudsen, but Eye of Agamotto is going to be able to stop all business from finding that tidal win of a fight stop that they were looking for. Tuzi gets taken down.
It could probably be that this isn't their patch.
Mischief into another Eternal Bond, but you can see Knudsen's silhouette is setting up for a Comic Revival. Zero Tenacity are more than happy to drop players because they're about to get them right back up.
They make their way in. They're committed to that push. They're going to try and push on in for more pickups. Slowpo will be the first to full smash this. Finally went down after hiding around the corner for quite a while in that fight. Looking at the ultimate, they still have the invisible boundary. Here comes the Goddess of Death. They got to focus that down. Lugia locked in here, still able to tank through a lot of that damage. Kraken Impact might be the only saving grace. Slowpo is going to have to pull off the engage of their life here to try and turn this round, because that card keeps moving forward. Moxie, they're running out of time. They've got to wait for any tool. Here comes the Eternal Bond for at least one turnaround, but already we're losing Newton, but they have to bring themselves back, and the Soul Rejuvenation from Oasis is
good. So it's good that all business is still. I was about to say it's good for all business that they're still trying to like hold it down and maintain like trying to win, but like Tenacity kind of just like fucking rolled them back.
They should be able to get it. They just need to get the cap out of the way. Welshmania is
they cap with 2 minutes left.
And Zero Tenacity.
Hey.
Triple cap with 2.
I need you to stop. I need you to stop. I need you to stop.
And
No, I need you off my desk.
Is even harder to be able to attack into because they have all of the usages of a defensive ultimate right from the rip. All business are going to have to take this attack in stages. They need to bleed the resources out from Zero Tenacity, the Soul Bond, the Cocoon Revives coming on through from Knudsen and Oasis. At the least, they're not running the Star.
I don't think all business is happy right now.
But Smashnaz on this Torch has been an absolute monster that All Business just have not been able to
You know,
extinguish.
hey, yeah, both teams should swap that name. Instead of, they should swap the first word in their names. So instead of All Business and Zero Tenacity, it should be Zero Business and All Tenacity, yeah.
Revives, but they are actually still on this thought. They might actually try this. We've only really seen this from the...
That's fucked up, chat. Don't say that, bro. That's toxic.
A little bit in the qualifiers from teams like not OTPs, where Cringe Alarm tried to get in as they were just target banned on their penny every time.
Yeah, Twisted Minds also played Kaya on before a couple of times, notably on Symbiotic Surface, sometimes over here on Hall of Djalia. Lugia, though, is essentially going to be able to just go and brawl. It's what this 4 is going to be able to do. Go and brawl, because they've read that All Business are going to be trying to put Tuzi over to this Hela on this hit scan to be able to keep a track of either Smashnez or Knuten if he's on the Adam Warlock, and that Hela is going to potentially get pressured off of the angle by the 4 coming on through, because they don't have the resources to care for her, as Lugia is going to show the might of Mjolnir alongside that Pyro Prison and All Business. Already we can see the lack of space that this team has. That's already regeneration domain.
Wait, I think this is the first Thor pick that we've ever seen, actually. Yeah.
See the new Thor right now, which bleeds a little bit more.
This is the first Thor pick that we've seen in the tournament.
This is before the Thor getting the ability to cancel that Awakening Rune, which allows them to try and get out with a Storm Surge. So they're forced to back away a little bit more standardly. Here is the Eternal Bonds already coming out early, as All Business are pushing it extremely aggressively. They've got a Rocket Revive, which brings back Winnie, but they do not have this Carbon Rival, and it would not be charged at this point anyway. All Business are taking this new composition from Zero Tenacity, and they are trying to outplay it. And the Final Judgment comes back in for the last turnaround. Regeneration Domain for at least a little extra protection, for a little extra time. The Sephirim barrier from Doctor Strange is buying every extra second as the portal.
They got off of Thor already, though, chat.
Keep the reinforcement going, dragging out this fight.
Huge pick as well comes through from Tuzi. He commits onto the rocket before the BRB station can bring back Knuten on that Punisher. All Business had a game plan when they sent everyone up on that left side. They all stacked together, which meant that closest primary, every single Light Force dagger is getting the AoE, the 8-meter heal onto every single person stacked up. Eternal Bond souls incredibly quickly. As Zero Tenacity, there, we get to see it. Adam Warlock comes back into the mix. Oasis over towards the Mantas. They're going for the res composition so that Tuzi can get checked out by a strategist.
They might not be being rash, but they're certainly adjusting.
Oh, I didn't play basketball today. I was too busy with other chores. So I had to be a grown-up today.
The Supernova Fire Tornadoes. We'll see a Flaming Medium smash this, so they get the bonus help to get out of danger. Aya Magamoto comes on in. Knuten went down, brought back with their own cocoon. Counter Aya Magamoto from Lugia, setting them up beautifully. Quadruple, it's a team wipe as they chase down Welsh Mania to complete the set.
Yeah, Closer goes down before they get the opportunity to use that Eternal Bond. Really good focus fire from Zero Tenacity. At least for Closer, though, they will have the CC immunity to make sure that they dodge away from the Psionic Seduction, which Ducky1 is setting up incredibly aggressively. This Pyro Prison is being used to just slowly chip down All Business and also stall out their approach, giving Ducky1 a much better position because they've been so worried about the Pyro Prison. No one's cleared the ammo. I think Ducky1 is still behind him, and indeed, there it is! All of a sudden, we've got a flanking Psionic Seduction, and All Business aren't able to turn the shield in time to save the Hela.
Going into administration, getting locked down, but they're still going to try and contest this. Losing Welsh Mania, but everyone else is contesting this. They got Knuten, they got Lugia. Znost is taken down by Smashnez, who is currently uncontested in the sky because of all the distraction that the ground forces are doing. But
you know, I hope All Business wins this.
They have to make their way back to
I hope All Business wins this, chat.
Holding the card, while invisible, they're still there. Finally getting caught, locked down with that extra soul siphon to keep them out of position, and we will see Zero Tenacity forced to reset with a slightly staggered invisible woman.
We've got 2 fights now because Winnie was able to stall out the payload. Well, Business are going to have to take 2 fights, and Zero Tenacity do have the Karmic Revival. They're already starting to make a play for possession of this corner so that they can get Smashness into a position to cut off the disengagement if all business try to retreat. When a tactical ultimate comes on through from the side of the defense, Knuten utilizing the terrain of the map to be able to block the bionic hook attempt to come on through. And there's Smashness. He's already been able to send them directly.
Oh, that was a big eye. That was a big eye, but I think he can res himself, right? Yeah, he res himself and he has his res.
Maelstrom will be able to find the picks that it's looking for. However, Knuten has the cocoon to self-revive, and with Ducky taking closer out of the fight and Kraken Impact dealt with at the same time, Zero Tenacity are still holding strong.
A lovely setup by all business there. 2-2 trying to make their way in, but it's just the stickiness of this roster. So hard it is to make any of these eliminations stay for longer than a few seconds with these double cocoons, with Strange being so hard to take down their own, Invisible Woman being able to double jump away, and of course Ducky having that diamond form. It's so hard to finish anyone off. Ayamagamoto to the high ground.
That was a big eye. Too bad nothing's going to happen though. Feels bad, man. I hate when you get a big goal and nothing dies.
Coming on out and sieging in.
Yeah, but that was Tuesday using Goddess of Death to dodge the Eye of Agamotto. Zero Tenacity more than happy to trade an invisible boundary for it because now they can take the fight out in the open. Out comes Psionic Seduction. So many players from all business swept into the mix and it just sets it up.
Can I squeeze that yacht? What are you even saying, brother?
Knuten brings
I appreciate the massive 500 bits. Big out. What?
And speaking about tumbling down, all business are tumbling like a house of cards.
I'm gonna need you to go to jail, chat.
Knocked apart by Zero Tenacity's composition.
Don't skip the dough, don't collect 200. Nah.
Time. They do, of course, have Portal, which they will save, hoping that 2-2, ironically hoping that they are the first to fall. Knuten just sniped Tuzi again from across the map. There's the counter pickup, and this time there is no cocoon. If all business are going to go, they have to go now and just hope that Tuzi can make their way in with that Astral Flock for the reinforcements. But that first step means they need to make sure that Smashness isn't just acting freely. Here comes the clone from Xenos to set up with the Eternal Bond. All business are committing.
Oh no, oh no, bro, all business. You can't win the tournament if you're gonna be doing shit like that.
It's gonna get found out, has no choice but to go onto the payload, but that's exactly what Zero Tenacity were wanting. Supernova cuts off the disengagement. Eternal Bond has come on through from the side of all business as they try and heal through everything that Zero Tenacity have in the back pocket, but unfortunately, well, those pockets are a little bit deeper. Knuten comes on through with the Karmic Revival. Every tool at all business's disposal has long since been exhausted.
Oh, he ulted them too. Wow. Damn, that Hela came over to help save the support, and then he said, fuck this shit, and just ulted both of them.
To recontest, we thought it would go 5 maps. It looks like it's going 3 total as Zero Tenacity win out all of the
Damn, dude, Chad, I feel bad, bro. I feel bad. Zero Tenacity kind of just rolled all business, bro. All business won 0. 0. It wasn't even close. 0.
Not losing all business. They will have time to go away and prepare for the playoffs as their seeding is now locked. And Smashness once again showing just how good this team is, creating distractions and then allowing Smashness to just move so freely.
Out of business would be a good alternative name. True. Hey, look.
Listen,
how many times do I have to tell you? Stop begging for
move the majority of that game, and yet 37,000 seems about right. A solid
37,000 damage, and he went 45-3.
Both of them put together did not out-damage Smashness.
45 eliminations. Almost outmatched by Lugia on the Strange, by the way, with 43. 18,777 picked up for the Strange. Ducky won on that Emma, having a little bit more damage burst output with the Diamond form.
Do we have another game after this, chat? I think so, right?
Zero Tenacity. It really does just feel like the compositions that they can play, the depths of which are endless. Like, they had so many set plays that all business would be like, okay,
the other bracket,
safe
right?
to walk forward. No, it's not. There's a torch in our flank.
Do you think Virtus Pro has a chance of winning? Virtus Pro looks like a good team,
let's move
so yeah,
it quickly through main, guys. Never mind, we're getting scooped up by Psionic Seduction into Adam, just peeking all of us, and there's nothing we can do about it. Like, it really looked like they had such a good read on the way that Zero Tenacity wanted to play with the Brawl composition as they walked forward for that first attack of A, right, where they get the Eternal Bond, Close is able to build it in record speed. They all just use it to get onto the point. Tuzi on the Hela gets to move up to the space, challenge out Knuten, takes down the rocket, and then we get to B. And it's just Zero Tenacity. It's so one-sided, every single one of these fights.
And we would be completely remiss to not talk about, you mentioned them getting set up on or being scooped by Cyber Seduction. It was also, okay, someone got taken out, let's regroup. Oh, we're still not grouped up because Knuten is a sniper on this Adam Warlock, pinging people from across the map, finding the pickups before they can even move out as a group, keeping control and making it so that this Emma can move around a lot more freely because there's less people to spot them.
Yeah, man was an absolute menace.
Why don't we get face cams on these teams because everyone's playing from home and I don't think everyone has a face cam attached to their computer.
Duel at sundown? Ooh, I'm smiling already thinking about it. But no, Zero Tenacity, it feels like they came into this match knowing that a lot of what they wanted to do on some of the other maps had been given, right? That All Business would likely have gone into their scrims and said to teams, hey, can you run this composition because we're probably going to be going up against this team. Play these heroes like X, Y, and Z so that we can practice against it, because obviously you're not going to scrim the team that you're going to be taking on in the tournament, right? So Zero Tenacity were like, well, what if we just take you to different maps, but we do things differently? Because they prepared. Like,
Jay,
just
I don't watch a lot. I just gotta say your chat has some wild vibes.
100%
My
they prepared
chat,
for the squirrel goal, going for something that is not going to be on the ground.
My
so the squirrel
chat
goal's gonna have
resembles
like
no.
A
homeless guy that's
comp after comp after
really
comp.
drunk,
really
can't
do.
walk in a straight line, but also high on fucking whatever he can find. So probably 18 different types of drugs.
Congratulations, yet another win with yet another comp.
Yeah. Finally we won and didn't lose like last time.
So how long have you guys been sitting on the Lunar Hawkeye? How long's that been in the kitchen for?
I mean, we just do our thing, honestly. Like, our coach says what we should go, and we went it, and it works out perfectly, I think. Mostly because Knuten is just the best Hawkeye in the game.
Yeah, he's Clint Barton. Like, there's no other way of saying it. That man is 100% the real life Hawkeye.
We did, however, see something a little bit different, though. You tried something in the start of round 2 in that third map that didn't maybe go as you all expected. Would you like to talk us through what the plan was then?
Yeah, I don't know. We just have a really good Thor player, and like Lugia goes, he's like the best Thor I know. Though, I mean, honestly, I don't know what we were thinking. It didn't work out at all. It was kind of shit, but... You know, our coach told us to go it, and in the end, like, if he tells me that I should jump off a bridge, I'm jumping off. Like, he's my goat. I listen to him.
What?
So why do you think Triple Res, or do you think Triple Res is still just as strong as it was in the previous match, or do you feel it's actually getting out-tempered by some other compositions?
I don't think you can say that, can you?
I mean, it's kind of hard to say, because like I feel like it's the opposite. So I feel like triple comp is probably the best composition in the game, but it's like if you get truly perfect with it, it should be the best. Like, I just think I don't know what to say. I just think there's one weakness which I don't think I can say. I don't think my team would like if I said that weakness.
Don't reveal team weaknesses. Yeah. We do not want the coach coming after us.
No. But yeah, I do think it's a really strong comp.
So you've mentioned your coach a couple times now. Who is that, and how long have they been with the team, and how have they impacted how you guys draft and play?
Yeah, he actually does a lot, like, to be honest. He's been with us for around 3 months. He was with us even before I even joined this team. So, like, usually he's the one that keeps us in check when everything gets chaotic. Like, when we lost yesterday, we were kind of going crazy. Like, should we go Hulk Namor, or what should we ban? Should we ban the same shit? But he's the one that reminded us that the meta does change. Shit. Like, everything does change throughout the tournament. There will be new compositions that come out, because you do want to counter the Punisher comp. Because the Punisher's comp is just, I mean, it's hell to go against, honestly. It's kind of OP.
So we got to see you on the Mantis, and I know that Mantis is one of your strongest, if not your strongest heroes. Getting to see as well so many of those sleeps coming out onto the Captain Americas. Do you have any advice that you want to give to Mantis players on how to be able to play that hero
for the Emma skin
into dire
enabled
situations?
Later. If you are working on the...
I think. And
if you're working on the magic skin, as soon as the magic skin is done, you start going back to the Emma skin.
It's really weird, honestly. Like, you just have to be careful of the Emma. Don't get grabbed. That's kind of the big thing. I got grabbed a lot, especially within scrims. I would ult and I would just walk straight ahead, like I did in season 0, and I would get grabbed in one shot. And my team, they sit there quietly, but I know they're judging me, for example. So that's kind of the big thing. Don't get grabbed.
All right, and the final question is, you're moving on once again to those finals of this group. Do you have any message for your opponents, for your team, and for the audience who are watching you?
I don't know. I really just want to win. Like, Tanuki was talking a lot of shit in DMs. Like, he think we had a player with like 15 FPS. His PC broke down and everything. Like, everything was just going to shit, and I feel like we were judged a little bit too much.
He said it 2 more times
on our performance yesterday. But I still think we have a good shot.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Oasis. Give our best to the rest of the team. Congratulations on the win. We'll let you get back to the rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
A series that we expected to be close was extremely in some cases, and then we just saw Zero Tenacity find yet another gear. They are going to be so terrifying heading in to these group finals and then into the playoffs. But we have another match coming up after this. Insomnia GG versus Virtus Pro, who have found themselves in the lower bracket, qualified for the playoffs, and are now beginning to create a recovery. And speaking of recovery, you should all be checking your inventory right now. If you've been watching us over the last couple of days, you should be building up towards these Twitch drops. We have that spray for the Will of Galacta. We have the nameplate, a classic magic emote, and a new costume where you can play in style. And you get that just by
Virtus Pro versus who?
On Twitch and just watching these and select other streamers' broadcasts. It's literally all you have to do.
Yeah, it's very easy to be able to do, but this next match is going to be anything but. Given how close Insomnia have been able to take some really strong teams, like their match yesterday against Rad, when the distance, I really thought you were casting, and I'm sure you believe so too. When we went to Symbiotic Surface, for sure we were getting locked down into a map number 3.
It was so close. Insomnia are another one of those teams where they just pull out the surprise stuff when we least expect it. Even with a sub coming in for that matchup, they brought it that
close. What you eating?
Let's see if they're going to be able
it's
to
a little
repeat
pastry
that
from Costco. I hate how Costco.
But first, we have a break so those players can get set up.
By the way, attempt Alex.
We're heading into Insomnia versus
I appreciate the Master Prime sub.
After this.
I hate how when you go to Costco and you try to buy like a tray of cookies or like like a little tray of like something from their bakery. And then you go to check out and they're like, hey, no, you can't buy that. And they're like, you got to buy another one if you want it. I'm like, no, I just want one little fucking thing in the little plastic shit, in the clear plastic shit. But no, now I have to, so I had to buy like another thing. It's just a pastry, man. A lot of pastries. Also, why are you guys talking shit to Gob? Gob is our hero for playing in Elo Hell. I don't see any of you guys signing up for Elo Hell. You guys are scared. At least Gob put himself in the face of danger and did good. Hey Jay, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself? Oh, this is my favorite song, chat. Let's listen to it for like an 80th time. Also, after this next game, Insomnia chat, I think there's gonna be a big break until NA matches. Sadly, I cannot watch the NA matches, so we'll probably just, depending on how long this is, we could probably play Expedition 33. Bro, listen, I don't want you to beg. I don't want you to beg. You stop begging. Yes, stay there. Wait, was I supposed to try during Elo Hell? Bro, Gob. You're not supposed to, bro, Gob. Protect your ball king. Okay, nope, I'm down. Throwing on Ash for 34 months. Appreciate it, appreciate it. I do not have a 2 PC setup now. I do everything on 1 PC. Did you guys see that guy? Bro, Bro, Gob. Ah. Bro, Gob. Your Spider-Man, please never pick Spider-Man again. Your Spider-Man was probably one of the worst Spider-Mans I've ever seen. Also, your Wolverine, bro, you could become a better Wolverine if you actually just got your cooldowns right and actually kidnapped people correctly. Oh, speaking about today, I think today, I think we uploaded something today. What? Alright, that was weird. I didn't get kidnapped once, that's strange. Wait, Nova, you were in the Elo Hell? Wait, I didn't see your name. Were you under... Oh, you were under a different account? Did 100 Thieves win last night? Yes, 100 Thieves won last night. Yeah, depending on how long this game goes, chat, we'll probably go do Expedition 33. Oh, let me go put this downstairs.
No time for sleep, only time for games. We are here to decide one more seed for today. We have another best of 5, and it is Insomnia GG versus Virtus Pro. The Legends find themselves in the lower bracket, and now they're competing for that slightly higher seed and that finals in their group.
Yes, they got knocked to the lower bracket by Rad a little bit earlier in week number 1 and came back immediately with a vengeance. We were thinking, okay, is this the season that Virtus Pro don't look as unstoppable as they were? Were Rad finally the immovable object that they met? No, they absolutely demolished with a 2-0 performance against Young Kanda. And going into this matchup, I feel like, again, we're definitely going to be seeing their domination, a map type which before has been a sticking point to criticism of this team, given that it is the map type that they've dropped the most amount of maps on, has improved significantly since they started picking up the res composition with the Cloak and Dagger in it.
Virtus Pro, though, they have shown that they can stumble. They are not that immortal team that we've seen up to now. They've technically still not lost a tournament ever, but there is a team that has thrown off so many teams going through this stage in the groups, and it is Insomnia GG. They have pulled out some of the wildest stuff, some of the best cap with Passimo, who will not be joining in for this game, as we have Sentinel joining in their stead, who put on some of the wildest stuff along with Demon, who lived up to their name when they were struggling in yesterday's games. They decided, what if we just made a Canadian missile and launched it to try and turn around their series versus round, and they nearly took it.
Yeah, take me down to the bowl game. Take me down to Symbiotic Surface was the game that Rad were finding themselves having to play up against us. This was absolutely insane. Sentinel, there was a little bit of concern, you know, coming in with a substitute. Is that synergy going to be there? Absolutely. Symbiotic Surface, Demon, like you said, was an animal unleashed on that Wolverine, getting so many connections with the fastball special.
They put on such a great performance, trying to hold on defenses and trying to rush in. I spoke to Sentinel a little bit before this, and they described this composition of just throwing Demon at the sky and letting them deal with it. Running in with the Gamma fastball, a composition that we really have not seen that much of outside of Season 0. It has made a return. And this is just me counting at the bottom here, just what I could see on the broadcast. 24 Wolverine snatches, resulting in 31 KOs. Their team picking up a lot of those hits after they land them. They found so many. We're literally going to see just a few of them. Just a few of the times that Demon was launched through the air to find people over and over again. If you find a flyer using the jump pad from the rocket, you are able to take them down. If you can get onto a strategist, you can take them down. This is the positioning destroyer.
Yeah, and I mean, what was even more impressive as well was the fact that Rad were running both the Invis Women and the Magneto, two players and heroes that not only counterplay the Wolverine grab attempts, but Virtus Pro are a team that has struck fear into the hearts of many and also inspired many into coming into the scene. So often when we talk to players, we say, who inspires you the most? Which person do you look up to in your role? A lot of the time, in fact, for the most part, it is a player on Virtus Pro's roster who is the answer. And they've gone back to the drawing board. They were motivated by their defeat against Rad Esports, and they improved. They've started picking up new compositions. We've got to see them really utilizing the Cloak and Dagger to devastating degree, as though that matchup against Peps was closer, I think, than some imagined it to be. Getting the one-sided Cloak and Dagger in the draft ban was a masterful stroke of manipulation.
They have taken control so fast. They used to go under Team Cats in MRC Season 0, and then very shortly afterwards were picked up by Virtus Pro and have never really let go of that title since. They have lost a series last week. That's when it happened. We found it. We found the series. And now they're looking at the potential of losing their first tournament, but they're already recovering. They're already building back up. That healing factor is active, and we are getting ready to head into our game number 1. Can Insomnia GG pull off the second defeat of Virtus Pro, or will the Kings claim their throne and head on to those group finals?
Well, Insomnia definitely not going to go quietly into the night. That overtime fights are the stuff of absolute legends. But what is going to really impact how these two teams
I was downstairs and
is the
Jay3 was staring at the door.
On for Virtus,
and I was able to speed Jay3
really
and actually pet her.
Being removed from the side.
She didn't run away.
Do they try and remove the Wolverine
that's why I was downstairs
from the sides of Insomnia?
Taking away anything from Insomnia is a risk, because Demon does still have options like Hela, Star-Lord, Punisher, and the Human Torch, which has been so devastating throughout these games. So far, these teams are potentially giving up Magneto, but it's not prioritized.
Okay, chat.
They let
so,
Magneto
remember,
go in exchange for the
Virtus Pro is a really good fucking team. Also, they have a lot of our Overwatch players and ex-Overwatch League. You have Finzi, you have Sparker, you have Saipei, they have Nevix.
Virtus Pro see money signs in their eyes right
but
now.
I remember yesterday, Insomnia GG, I think they have Demon, right? That guy was crazy on the Wolverine, so I hope we see more of that.
coming on out from the side of
how do you sign up for ELO now? What are the chances of getting selected? You just got to join my Discord, and when we what do you call it, do sign-ups, you just sign up.
Until a little bit later, Virtus.pro will be able to access the Magneto ban after they've saved Magneto for themselves.
This isn't the first time Insomnia have done this.
I'm still under the assumption a stray cat in Florida is just an alligator.
So maybe thinking that they have
Yo, Blink! I appreciate the Massive Prime sub as well, my friend. Welcome, welcome.
To try and catch people. We also have Doctor. Someone else
saved the Loki, and the other two saved the Magneto.
8 heroes so far. Punisher, Adam, Storm, Hawkeye without Luna Snow, Winter Soldier, Ultron, Namor, and Hela, and have played incredibly well on all of them. They are very similar to like a Tuzi, for example, who just cannot be banned out.
What is? Wait, what?
Speaking
that
about being
email?
What?
Farts cutely?
Yet again. Potentially one-sided cloak and dagger, as Insomnia are actually going to be removing
that's me.
So Fire Extinguisher gets taken to Johnny Storm. The Human Torch is taken out of rotation. Virtus.pro take out the cloak and dagger for the side of Insomnia, likely going to be leading into a save of their own, so that they get the one-sided Terror Cape advantage. And that's going to mean that their break points, their time to get these picks, is significantly shorter in comparison to what Insomnia
I feel like them saving cloak is like a low-key. It's like a distraction.
Heavily into this Star-Lord.
I think they could still play the triple res comp like that they like to do
right now to ban that Adam and try and remove that flexibility.
Oh, never mind. They banned Adam. I think that was a good ban. That was a good ban.
Virtus.pro out of the little comfort zone they've set up for themselves in these last 2 series.
Oh, Insomnia trying to force Virtus.pro into Psylocke. Virtus.pro, by the way, still managing to secure Luna and Psylocke through this mix. This is why Insomnia likely also
I would ban Magneto if you save Cloak and Dagger, ban Magneto.
So that you can use your Invis passive to dodge away from the auto lock of the Dance of the Butterflies coming on through. Sparker's Psylocke is something that has been talked about since Season 0, where players said that it was the best, not just in the EMEA region, but in the entirety of the world. So to let this one go is definitely going to lead to a very
Psylocke player chat.
Sparker versus the entirety of Insomnia's back line.
In the entire world? I don't know. They haven't seen my Psylocke.
Because it's not just the Psylocke that made it through. It's the Luna and the Captain America too. He's got all the tools at his disposal.
They didn't see my Psylocke chat. My Psylocke is disgusting.
VP have shown the least amount of characters in Ignite, but we obviously have months of experience showing stuff like you said. That Psylocke, the first time.
Probably a reason they haven't seen it. Dude, my Psylocke is nasty.
Will it be
Sparker probably beats you with his eyes closed. No. Who was that very disgusting Widow player in Overwatch that everyone was like, oh my god, this guy's a Widow god? He was also in the Overwatch League. You guys know who I'm talking about?
Through the bad face for them.
Yeah, and Insomnia are not going to have the Magneto either, so they've got to go over to the Strange and the Hulk, which means that Demon is indeed
no, it wasn't
going to be piloting that Wolverine.
I think it was ANS, Ons or whatever. I think I played against him in like a show match, and I actually ended up winning, chat. So hey, I just want to say,
for Virtus.pro as well to give them that little bit of extra
speed
boost from coming on through. As Sparker on the Psylocke and Fire on the Star-Lord get ready to launch themselves into the backline.
Wolverine sailing on path.
I'm pretty sure I had that, what do you call it, YouTube video somewhere.
Point, they have Iron Bulwark, they have incredible mobility. Nevix on the Venom for the 2nd time in 2 days. But Fire will be the first to fall without Adam. They do not return. The Star-Lord swaps immediately onto a Hela.
Nevix actually goes for the Venom to be able to jump in, tether multiple players on up. The Sparker to get the most amount of damage off. Demon gets frozen by Saipe, but does not go down thanks to the Wolverine passive, and Insomnia still holding on. However, this fight has been going on a very long time, which means ultimates are about to be built up for the
Insomnia took the... No, they dropped him!
Fate of both worlds, not just trying to find a cloak pick. Insomnia starting to.
I want to see the Wolverine, bro. That guy's Wolverine is crazy fucking good.
We can see Demon hurtling around. Can he find the pick he's looking for? No. Virtus.pro entrenched themselves, not on the point, but inside the small room, and it's a space that Demon just cannot commit into.
we already mentioned, we see Jay3 VOD. They try to target up into the skybox to look to see if anyone is up there so they get the good angles for the site.
Damn, Insomnia is taking the W so far from Virtus Pro. That's crazy.
And we're starting to see the positioning taken by Virtus Pro, finding the Karmic Revival and setting on through for another counter pickup to remove that Adam, but they were able to revive themselves.
I don't know if it was Saya player. I think I'll look at the YouTube video.
Has moved on to the big clobbering time for the lockdown. To look for the turnaround, everyone's going to get locked down with the counter. Ryan Bakamoto, invisible boundary for the push on in. Insomnia going to try and take this. If the Meteor M can land, they can turn this around, but it is completely blocked out.
And the Goddess of Death is still going because Meteor M had one-shot capability, but it also absorbed all of the damage that could be bringing out Fire's ultimate early. Spark is able to get a late pick onto the Invis with an Insomnia denied. One of their strategists are slowly falling apart as Virtus Pro are able to sustain through the fight and finally stabilize, but Insomnia having been able to
finally capped the point with 76 after 76%
how that fight actually
that's fine. I think Virtus Pro can take this. I'm rooting for Virtus Pro, Chad. I don't know. I have more friends on Virtus Pro than I know. I don't know anyone on Insomnia besides Demon. That guy was actually fucking crazy. I actually liked his Wolverine yesterday.
For them to try and pick people to go in for long, drawn-out fights. They just need to win one, maybe two. So it's all about pushing in and creating openings. As such, Demon onto that torch to push on in. They've got Nocta to try and snipe people on the backline with that Ultron as they push on in. Sparker, though, is doing so much work, making it very hard for Sentinel to really find an opening as they're getting focused down so much. But Sparker will be the one to fall as Demon pushes on in.
Oh, he got off the wolf, bro. No, I like the Wolverine, man.
Now it has to be an eternal bond because Virtus Pro can't afford the point to flip. Nocta counter plays it with the Rage of Ultron coming on board, but the
I'm not a betting man.
Insomnia don't have the confidence to push further forward. Forever is chasing so many of the strategists. Back manages to come through with the Eye of Agamotto. Drito is not able to dark teleport out of it in time. Gets caught in the phase change, but Fire's got us a death.
It's nice to see that a Hela's popping off. We don't see a lot of Hela in here, chat. Still very picked a little bit, but not as much as I would think.
The butterflies, and after that one, Insomnia falls silent.
Fi just saved their team that fight. Relaxing Knights getting a stolen ultimate onto that Eternal Bond, setting themselves up for what looks like a one fight. But Fi found two perfect shots. Lurkin and Relaxing Knights sitting together, and they are picked off fast enough to allow Virtus Pro to hold the point.
I love those fast TPs on someone, bro.
Pick up onto Fi, and they push on in. 90% for Virtus Pro, but if Insomnia can clean this out, they might be able to take this round one of game one. That portal is keeping the reinforcements coming.
And they still got time though. They still got time. They got 20 seconds.
On in. They're trying to keep the pressure onto the thing.
I mean, everyone from Virtus Pro is just forced into this small room. They've got to break past the torch that's laying the gauntlet down with this continuous.
Wow, wait, a magic?
Even back over to the magic so that he can try and utilize things like those portals and the dashes to maneuver himself around.
I don't think we've ever seen a magic chat up there. That was the magic. Never mind.
Hero, though, was able to pull up the Eternal Bond. Virtus Pro bide that time, build the win condition, and out they come with the Eternal Bond, paving the way onto point. They flood with the Terror Cape.
Oh no!
So many players on the side
oh
of Insomnia,
no! Why wouldn't you save your ult for the next fucking round, bro? Why wouldn't you save your ult for the next round?
When you look at these two teams, when you look at the past performances, then a 3-0 scoreline, and it absolutely feels like Insomnia are in control of some of these fights. They are looking incredibly strong at the opening.
It came down to ultimate economy, having the reinforcements coming in with the clobbering time, setting up, preventing any of the strategists from getting any of that healing output. Virtus Pro controlled that final fight.
Saipei was a DPS player in Overwatch, if I'm not mistaken, chat. It's kind of crazy how he goes to this game and he's become a healer.
Not to do it. Instead, just going for quick reinforcements, like Fi swapping over to that Star-Lord instead of the Hela, just so they can get back to the point faster. The exact reason why Nocta swapped over to the Magic, but being sent to the Thing, massively reduced their mobility, and they were picked off.
Fi as well on the Star-Lord is going to be much harder to lock down than the Hela. As we saw that portal fully directed on the Hela's location before Virtus Pro were able to get any form of feel. Fire was just gone. Plus, he's going to have Galactic Legend and Insomnia banned out of the Magneto, and the Emma have no ultimate that can be used to absorb it. nor sustain it, as right now they don't have a single strategist ultimate. So out comes Pyro Prison trying to buy themselves the delay. Meteor M catches them, but you have to be sure that it doesn't catch the rooftop. As Finzy still able to find the value. Fading out the regeneration domain.
I'm surprised he didn't just save that for like an actual ult.
That means that Sparker doesn't have to worry about the low-key AoE healing everyone back to full for his ultimate. Dance of the Butterfly.
What's good, Jay? What's up? What's up?
Off of that, Insomnia should be losing this first fight.
You can see the incredible chase potential of that Psylocke running on down to the Venom and making sure that they do not get onto the point. And this time Virtus Pro take extremely early control. We're seeing Insomnia. They are adjusting. Sentinel, they are moving on to that Captain America, inspired by Passimo, who saved their team so many times with this maximum sustain onto the objective.
Come on, Insomnia. You can take one round off of them at least. I want Virtus Pro to win, but chat, I don't want to see a 3-0 again, bro. I think 3-0s are boring. I want to see close games. I want to see nail biters.
How many resources do they burn to flip this?
Agamotto potentially forever doesn't want to use it against the Vanguards. He needs the backline, but he's being bodyguarded out of it by Nevix on the thing. Demon comes on through with the Supernova, and Agamotto finds its target, but a beautiful Terror Cape from Judo.
Is that two Luna ults going off at the same time for both teams?
Maelstrom can find the picks against Virtus Pro instead. Eternal Bond comes on through. Back in we go with Spark as POV.
Damn! Wait, actually, Sparker might be the go.
Off of just the thing's fists. Insomnia are driven all the way back to spawn.
I asked the question, how many ultimates did Insomnia burn to flip? The question should have been, how many did they need? Because it was more than what they used. They used Rage of Ultron. They used Eye of Agamotto. They used literally everything except for that invisible boundary that they had available, and it still wasn't enough. Virtus Pro repelling them here. This thing is putting in some absolute work on these long extended fights on the point.
They use Invis boundary too. They sequester themselves in a tight space, which means Nevix gets a free go on covering time. He uses
bro, I wish we could have
tries to get the boundary off to save the team, but it's not in time to save the Loki. Major Freeze comes out onto Sentinels. He tries to just dive the backline and force Virtus Pro to have to turn their attention off of the point itself, but Fi is holding it down so low with the Galactic Legend. Insomnia don't have the shield pressure. They don't have the Magneto. They don't have any presence. And what looked like it was going to be a continuous
that was a game.
There's
nothing really much to say. That was a game, Jack.
Virtus Pro performance as
they kind of dominated that.
Very nicely done. We saw the
no, it wasn't. I don't think it was the Sue that wasted all. I think it was the Loki. The Loki copy. Yeah, kind of unfortunate.
Just being allowed onto a different hero for once and proving that it still has a place. Virtus Pro with a solid opening, but again, we saw Insomnia moments of brilliance where they nearly took it. But Virtus Pro, that is vintage.
Spark at 24-1.
Wow, look at the stats, chat. The other team, the Nemesis only killed 5 people that whole fucking game. 5.
By 20-2.
5.
One of those was when he just
20-0 by Finzy, 16-1, 20-2, 21-1, 24-1 or whatever. Bro,
Insomnia jumping directly on top of him. I think if you're Insomnia though, like you go Symbiotic Surface. At some point in this matchup, you go Symbiotic Surface. It's by far the map that you felt the most comfortable, but we did see cracks in terms of the atom composition. Letting Sparker's Psylocke through the mix does mean that you have a hero who has enough mobility as well as the damage to be able to just fully punish the Karmic Revival positions.
And this thing, we have not seen it much at all. Getting massive clobbering times to lock them down. Yeah, you can struggle into these massive...
Wait, I'm actually really surprised that he played the thing, actually. The thing into that other team's comp. He made it work. That's wild.
Being in the process of being knocked around by the thing. Nevix adjusting the composition.
At this point, do you leave meta and go for comfort picks?
They decide against it.
To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure teams fight or they go for what they're most comfortable with, yeah. So what's really cool about this game and the bans that they do is it's very interesting. I haven't seen anything like that. You ban for the other team, but you save for your team. So there's almost like never any mirror matchups.
And we got to see
it's
a
crazy.
lot of the time when Sparker was going for the Dance of the Butterflies, which can sometimes leave the Psylocke vulnerable as you come out of that ultimate, because
there's almost like
when you're
never
setting up
any
your Dance of the
mirror
Butterflies,
matchups.
you have to use your dashes, your 2 dashes to get into position to be able to use them, and you might not have them back on cooldown after the ultimate ends, which then leaves you vulnerable to being picked. But no, they played perfectly, the thing essentially being a dive target, no matter the fact that he is as solid as a rock. But we'll see if VP have as solid a performance
they were not,
in map
they did
number
better
2
with Wolverine,
after
but
this break.
They didn't win with Wolf. They had the first fight of the first map. They had the lead, but they kind of never won a team fight after that. Oh, we have another what, a 3-minute break, and they're showing us old skins. Boo, 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 boo. Available on May 30th. Wow, I can't wait until those skins come out on May 30th, chat. Didn't ever imagine a game could be good for more than 2 months, but Marvel did beat the expectation. Well, and I don't know, man. Their player count on Steam went down. Jay, how do I know which games to provide for ELOL? Just join my Discord, man. Everything's in my Discord. Also, Overwatch was more fun. It was fun for more than 2 months. What are you talking about, bro? I remember when I first played Overwatch, that game was fucking banging. Yo, Chosen Seraph. I appreciate the massive new tier 1 sub. And Blink, I think I said Blink for the Prime. Jay is still fun? Yeah, I'm fun after 30 years. Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. Let's ask Emily. Emily would say that I'm still fun. Emily gets new surprises every day. Right, Emily? I said I'm still fun after 30 years, and we were talking about games being fun. Because they were like, hey, Marvel Rivals is actually fun after 2 months still. I was like, I'm still, and then Jasmine was like, oh, Jay's still fun. It's still fun, Jay, Overwatch. And then they said that's actually, am I fun? What do you mean, why Jasmine lie? You don't like Overwatch? No, she didn't say I was being fun. She meant to say, like, Overwatch is still fun. But she typed it as Jay is still fun. Emily was saying, Jasmine, why are you lying? Because she thought you said that I was fun.
We are back with our game number 2 coming up. Virtus Pro sent down into the lower bracket, but have seemingly become the waking giant.
We're not talking about your surprise poops, Jay. What do you mean by surprise poops?
A couple teams have given them a little bit of trouble on the way, but no one has yet been able to set up an effective roadblock.
No one has yet been able to set up effective bans against this team too, because like you and I, we were discussing it in the 5 minutes of downtime. Like, how do you even approach?
Emily is way cooler than Jay.
What? So much experience in the esports scene already, and so many regard them as having the best.
To be honest with you,
hero multiple times in that same role.
In this
so
household,
like, okay,
with our cats, the cats see me as the fun, funny,
Psylocke, and
you know, guy in this house.
Proved that it is
Emily is more like
best in the entire
strict.
world.
Oh, they've been picking out a Warlock literally every game, and Spark's been playing
slaps
very
me
well.
a
That's
lot.
obvious.
No.
It's literally happened almost every game. Let's ban it away. No, that was a mercy.
With me.
You will see the Psylocke come in, and you will have a rough time. always in the backline, finding the Karmic Revival when it came out to literally immediately get a huge amount of damage and a quick blow up onto Adam themselves. This is the fear that Virtus Pro can instill in anyone they go up against. As we're starting off, heading in, will we see Insomnia adjust their draft as they are heading to their favorite Symbiotic
Okay, let's see a chat. Symbiotic Surface, and the first bans are Emma.
It's definitely going to be coming at some point in this series, and it is now, as Emma is going to get banned out. The last time Insomnia saved the low-key, thinking that it would be able to shut down things like that Psylocke, still go for that low-key save. Maybe they want to pair it up with something like a Punisher so that you can use the regeneration domain in your ultimate cycles, as Virtus Pro continue the tradition that we saw of Burnin banning out the Luna and then grabbing the Magneto for themselves.
Which means they're almost certainly going to get that one-sided Magneto, as Insomnia will not have an opportunity to protect anything until right at the end of this advanced pick and ban phase. So where else do they choose to go? How do you ban? We've talked about it, and you can see them taking extra time. They're going to start off simple. Get rid of the stuff that can protect the backline. Remove the Loki. This is a solid, safe first step. But
I'm pretty sure there's no 3 Wolverines. I'm pretty sure they're all just selecting Wolverine just to...
Surely... No,
Just to select
it's still Fire Torch. Virtus Pro are going to get one-sided Cloak and Dagger again. If Insomnia lock the Torch, Virtus Pro are immediately going to be saving the Cloak and Dagger yet again.
Run it back, apparently, says Insomnia. Let's just do that
Wait,
again. And
what?
see Insomnia this time, as we will see Virtus Pro looking for the very, at this point, standard. How times have changed since last week. The Cloak and Dagger getting protected in this second.
So they saved Magneto and Cloak and Dagger, and they saved Loki. Who else are they going to save?
Where you make something matter. Do you mirror again and ban Adam for a second time? They look at Luna, which means
but that lets
slightly weaken through the Psylocke, but it's still good.
It would be really clutch actually if Virtus Pro banned
they've only got
Wolverine.
one ban slot left because they go after Fire's Torch, which means that they go for the Luna, not the Psylocke, as they will be able to save the Magneto at least. So if Virtus Pro do decide to run a Punisher on this map, he is potentially
they're gonna ban. Wow, they didn't ban Wolverine after, especially what Demon did yesterday on the games.
Coming on through, so we're not going to be having one of those lineups coming on out for Insomnia. This is gonna force them onto a really rough backline.
They were just frontlining Psylocke, didn't carry.
They're probably gonna have to go for a triple.
Why are you saying Sparker didn't carry? Sparker legit fucking popped off last game, bro. Nash, you good,
Cloak
bro?
and Dagger, and they don't get Luna, which means that Loki's gonna have to copy Tritra's ultimate, and 2,
the guy went like 24-1 last game.
Gonna be enough to sustain your entire team.
Let's talk about their composition from last time, from their match versus Rad Esports. How did they adjust it? They did run this Adam. They ran whatever strategist they could get. In one case, it was the Invisible Woman. In another case, they tried it with a Cloak and Dagger of their own. But then their last strategist for Lurkin was Rocket, using those extra revives and consistent jump packs to keep that Wolverine flying through the air. But running this into Virtus Pro, who have been given their Psylocke Rocket, is a little bit
that
squishy
skin.
If they're not near their team,
I don't know. That wasn't a free skin. Why? I don't understand why people would buy that skin for Invisible Man and like the thing. That skin is just not good, bro.
Is going to be permanently found out if Lurkin's not able to place it, and indeed it is going to be the Mantis, Loki, Adam coming on through from the side of Insomnia as Sentinel sets up a portal. They're going to be looking to try and grab one person, but Virtus Pro, see the animation, everyone stacks on up to be able to care for each other. Can Demon find a grab? No, he can't.
Okay, chat, I want to see Demon's Wolverine, bro. This guy's Wolverine yesterday was fucking disgusting.
To point itself, which means that Noctis should be getting a lot of poke pressure, but Fire gets bubbled with the Bulwark, and to be able to counterplay, and Insomnia are forced to drop instead.
Virtus Pro, they are playing a lot.
I don't like that. No, that skin for Sue Storm and the thing is just the Future Foundation. I think that's what it's called. It's not good, bro.
There is a Demon pickup trying to focus onto Finzi, but with that light cloak, it's almost enough to keep them topped up. But Lurkin will get the finishing blow. Nevix is taken out. And
wow, Insomnia capping first point on first fight.
One by one, they are able to take down Virtus Pro, creep on in, and Nevix is like, all right, Wolverine's here. Time for thing.
Time to go to thing in indeed. No more grabs. As Insomnia, they're not going to have all
Nah, bro.
of the
Future Foundation does not. It just doesn't look like a good skin. It's
Wolverine.
cool that the skin can change in the game,
if you ask me. As Lurkin
but I
is
don't think
still
it's a good
on
skin.
Mantis rather than that rocket, so we're not going to be getting the continuous super jumps for Demon. However, this Wolverine can still look for the grabs onto Finzius. CP is actually on the Invis woman right now, having the counter grab, of course, physics to try and stop any shenanigans of Vanguard getting nabbed out early. It's going to be Galactic Legend with the bullet from the Magneto, already forcing out both the Soul Bond and the regeneration domain.
Damn, that guy barely lived, bro, with 1 HP. That's wild.
And was forced to invest the Soul Link to make sure he survives, which means that Sparker gets an absolute smorgasbord of targets with the Dance of the Butterflies.
Both of the revivers are taken down. They will come back, though, as Nocta brings themselves back through that cocoon, bringing the Karmic Revival to keep this push from Insomnia going. Making their way back in, but Eternal Bond for the turnaround. Dredro is in the backline, and they have turned to duel them. Do not let them get away with this for free, but a retreat up to the high ground. Dredro took out Forever and escaped with that Dark Force teleport.
Finzi's able to pick out Lurkin as well. As Sentinel is going to go over to the Groot, as we're now going to see them try and use things like these walls to give them that space to not go down to the poke, potentially take an off-angle play without getting instantly jumped upon by a Star-Lord, by a Psylocke, as Demon is pushed back yet again, quite literally, by the force physics coming on through from Saipe. Last Stand is in play for the Wolverine, as is Invis Branches. We're going to see the rock, paper, scissors matchup between the strategist and the duelist to see if they can grab them out of that space. Strangling.
What a good ult, but no one fucking died. Oh, there you go. Wait, Fi got another fucking ult? Wow, bro. He's getting his ult insanely fast, but Demon, look at Demon going in.
Insomnia are pushing on in. You can't pick up the thing, but percentage damage is percentage damage. Don't matter who you are. As we see Insomnia pushing on in. You mentioned flying the bumblebees. It's Wolverine, so it's flying the bumblebees.
Sparker is about to be dancing to that tune as well. We've got Dance of the Butterflies coming on out for the duelist on the side of Virtus Pro. Insomnia, though, it will be at the start of
the
fight.
One thing I don't like, though, is that they're not throwing Demon as Wolverine. Yesterday, when they were throwing him, he was going fucking crazy.
Both the regen domain and the soul bonders. The fight is on the point. Nocta drops to be with the team. Terrorkit comes on through, but the Atom is able to avoid it. Spark is still holding on. He's waiting for those resources to be burned before he takes center stage.
The first resource is burned. Everything else is still a little bit further away on the cooldown. Meaning Sparker, they have the trigger. Is Soul Bond available? Regeneration domain is, and that will shut this down. But now Sparker burning yet another resource can start to get to the backline. Dredro coming in with
I wonder if it's because of the baby food.
Them into the doorway, meaning this is a very grouped up area where
no, it's not
will get taken down. Immediate Karmic Revival, but reinforcements come in for Virtus Pro to make sure that they have everyone on the board. Nevic's got trapped in there by the group walls.
Nice thing ult.
Oh,
you have to go now, right?
Absolutely not.
Be safe, drive safely. I parked the car all the way over there if you want to do it again.
That two strategists
it's over there.
both got grabbed up by the strangling prison, but the Guardian barrier healing from Saipe keeps them in the fight, and then Nevitz on the thing just gets to punch. Ding,
yeah, just park it here. I'll move it right before because I'm gonna end my stream before they come over.
Have to find another way to reapproach. That, however, is Finzi on the Strange. The teleport recontest has been burned from the time bank, and Insomnia do have their favorite ult.
Also, I gotta say sorry to Emily. I only went after her because she was the support and I rocket. Gob, that's not true, bro. You try to go for whoever you could. Emily was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Oh, this is gonna be a big ult. Oh! Oh my fucking god, that was an insane ult, dude! The fact that, oh my god, that was insane. He went on the ceiling so they couldn't see him, and there's also like a little overhang blocking that so they couldn't. Oh my god.
Try and portal past, realizing they might have a quick timing here, choosing to fight on the high ground instead of being sieged upon. They choose to take the duel, pushing on in. Final stand, Galactic Legend for the turnaround, though eaten by the Media M into the backline. Snipes out Dredro. That's a big pickup.
That's a big ult burn though, and that's huge cooldowns invested. 5 with the Galactic Legend is still able to force out the regeneration domain from Galactic Knight, who goes for the God of Mischief copy to set up for an invis.
Oh, he actually got the Inviswoman. Wait, what? I didn't even see her.
Out of theirs by the last stand. Insomnia are finding the picks, but they still have to deal with potential daggers coming on through from Sparker, who gets fully healed up by the dagger down from Druidor. Virtus Pro can throw themselves onto point. Terra Kid comes on through. Sparker tries to dance around him, but
Zuzai? Is that your name? I appreciate the massive prime tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome.
And Druidor with the Eternal Bomb is able to fully invade Insomnia's space. Sentinel comes on through with the Eye of Agamotto.
This is a good push from...
Stop
yawning. I didn't yawn. Did I yawn?
Keeping them snared on up into the dance of the butterflies. That look like Insomnia will find the turnaround. The Virtus Pro have the answer. They shut the Comic Revival down.
Barker has so much map awareness, always where they need to be, cleaning them off the board. But Insomnia, they did get back.
And you guys are saying Sparker's not doing anything besides his ult. He literally almost won. He didn't almost win that because they capped the point, but he almost got everyone.
But Insomnia, it was the objective.
I didn't even play basketball today, chat.
Well, Adam is pulling so much attention in his demon, living up to their name, cleaning up.
Listen, when you have a 2-month-old adopted baby, Kitty, he wakes you up a lot. But he's so cute. He was actually, it was his second night sleeping with us, chat. He was cuddled up next to me for a little bit, and he was purring.
Trying to find the grab, but he doesn't match you up with the first physics coming on through from Saipe. Momentum is stunted by the Galactic Legend coming on through from the side of 5. The Sparker is on the right side awaiting, getting...
Oh, what a sleep! What a fucking sleep!
Down the dance of the butterflies, and Virtus Pro were forced just with base abilities alone to send Insomnia back.
Demon has swapped over to the Punisher. They decided that they are done with that Wolverine, with the thing.
Oh, no more Wolverine. I love that guy's Wolverine, bro.
And of course, that flying Star-Lord. They're choosing to try and take them out, but Insomnia getting completely zoned out by Virtus Pro, who hold the door.
Nice ult by Finzi. Kill that guy.
They're trying to even this up. Galactic Knights with the clone moving on in, pushing in with the Eternal Bond, but Sparker is on the flank, looking for the interrupts, just dueling out Nocta, keeping them out of this fight as overtime is ticking down. This distraction is buying so much time for VP.
Yeah, it's also stopping Nocta from getting set up for Comic Revival, which needs the...
Wow, oh, Nevix, bro, that was a whiff.
Sparker was taken CC'd out of the ultimate, so has it back up almost immediately, but Nocta has the Soul Bomb, and Demon has the Final Judgment. Lurkin
nice tracking on that guy.
Also has the BRB, so if a trade comes on through, Insomnia will be able to revive their players regardless.
Damn, Insomnia. Hey, listen, I will have to say that Insomnia is fucking popping off, bro. They're doing really well, not getting rolled by Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro is a really good team.
Gets sent out of the mix. Nocta 2 now going to be safe, and now that the Psylocke has been denied the movement, the space to take down the Comic Revival spot. Galactic Legend, they buy the space to deal with it with the regeneration domain, and then Demon buys them the pick with the Punisher, and immediately Virtus Pro are losing ground in this fight.
I think that was too early of a res. I don't think anyone got res.
Virtus Pro's players that are falling entirely unimpeded as Insomnia's side. They've just got to deal with a couple of stray staggers. The Soul Bomb
wow,
what solidify, and it's a full push.
What a fucking play, bro. What a fucking play.
Give up. Never sleep when there is victory at hand.
That a good push by Insomnia, bro. Good push by Insomnia. We take that, chat. That was a really good push.
Move over to the Punisher to just try and melt it. Immediately it swapped over to the Venom to try and deal with that, to make sure that they're not going to be punished as hard. So Demon turns their attention.
Anyone know why Magic's drop is 6 hours? Yes, because the devs wanted you to watch for 6 hours to get it.
We need some extra sustain of our own. They go back to Old Faithful. It's time for Sparker on the Adam Warlock. Dritro sticking with that Cloak and Dagger because it's insane. And Phi is going to have a lot of faith put in them on that Star-Lord.
Yeah, I mean, the Loki is going to have really good sustain in the form of the regeneration
Jay3 is so smart.
domains.
I mean...
However, The 12-second cycle of Terror Cape from
How do you answer that question? I don't know, Chat.
Definitely going to give Virtus.pro the edge in terms of damage that Fi can
Done with the 6 hours already somehow? Probably because you were watching my stream. Listen, time flies when you're having fun. And in this chat, it's always fucking fun. Am I right, chat? Am I right?
That's going to be something that Insomnia are going to have to watch out for, especially because that AoE damage instantaneously breaks every single Loki doppelganger if Relaxing Night stacks them a little bit too close.
Gonna have to stay split up right now. They've got the Loki firing squad up on the high ground to break that so they can get the initial angle. We are seeing Nemix dropping the portal, and they have a counter portal forcing the shutdown. Nicely done. Not going for a trap, let's just drop overwhelming damage and prevent that from coming in, and that is going to slow down Virtus.pro.
Did they show the stats? Fuck, I wasn't here.
Virtus.pro weren't actually planning on walking out of that portal, though. They had the Mantis and the Widow.
Yeah.
And the Terror Cape coming on through. They were trying to find a one-shot onto one of the players from Insomnia, but Insomnia have double shield, so the Widow's not able to find a hole in the wall. As Fi now back over to the Star-Lord is going to be trying to find an engagement, an entrance for the team, slowly chipping down some of these resources. However, that's already Dagger Dome invested from the side of Dreader, trying to build up to his first Eternal Bond to have that.
Sparker has 30,000 damage. There's no way Sparker has. Wait.
A huge barrage comes on through from Fi. Buys almost 50% of the ultimate with all of the damage boost that was stacked on top of that Star-Lord. And unfortunately for Insomnia, they have no choice but to give the space.
Oh my god, that was actually a really good turret spot.
Just to try and hold the ground down.
Wow, that's a really good turret spot with those supports in the corner right there. They can't do nothing. They're just doing so much splash damage.
Sparker are all taken down. Insomnia, they are buying every extra second here to make sure that even if there is a triple cap, they could at least try and contest it, as they, of course, had an empty time bank at the end of that first round. Virtus.pro, they will back up, they will regroup, and they're starting to build that ultimate count. Blaster Barrage has been setting up a good set of damage. Now try and set up for a Galactic Legend.
Finzy's already got Meteor, and Insomnia don't want to start the fight until Forever has the match. Especially because it's going to come down to the Cloak and Daggers. Both of these teams have the Hyperburst ultimate ready to go. Galactic Legend for Virtus.pro is going to kick things up.
Oh, nice flank around the back, but I don't think he's doing any damage. How the hell did that kill someone?
The same cannot be said
what?
for Saipe goes down, and Final Judgment from Demon is already creating the space as they try to come on through with the Meteoram shutdown, but no, Demon survives.
Comic Revival coming out from Sparker, though. They've chosen to keep this fight going.
Noodles going in her backpack. Wait,
for the setup from the Relaxing Knight's clone. The push on in. Demon was set up on the high ground, and they are wrapped around here. Frenzied arrival from Nemesis to the Blaster.
The Among Us backpack.
Keeping everyone topped up.
Among Us.
Regeneration domain for them to retreat into as they push on. Forever's dropping extremely low. For the counter.
Big eye. Got 2 supports.
Because everyone who's in it is deceased.
That was an insane Eye of Agamotto from Sentinel, and off of the back of that one, Virtus.pro are in shambles. They've got to make sure that they get back to be able to regroup in time. 1 minute left. Fi's going to have the Galactic Legend, but that's all Virtus.pro have to play around with right now. They can buy themselves the poke to be able to build up an Eternal
She's going
Bond,
to the vet
but
today.
That's sacrificing seconds that they can't afford. Sparker needs to be able to have the Karmic Revival to be able to match, as they've not been able to pick up a single tick. Insomnia can play around the point percentage, force Virtus.pro into overcommitting in this last fight, and then come back in with the last better hurrah.
Look, it has that Cosmic Yard amplifier. The BRB is set up
when she's screaming for help, I think so.
To try and create an opening fight.
Take care, man. Drive safely. Neil, appreciate that 300 bits, my friend.
Forever, the BRB will bring them back, so it's still a 5v4 as Cypher was taken down. Here comes the Cosmic Yard amplifier for maximum damage.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Insomnia?
No sleep.
What a fucking hold by Insomnia, bro. Full holding Virtus.pro?
Venom's giving everything, but they're all that's left, and Venom is slain on Clinton.
Can she breathe in the backpack? Yeah, bro. There's it's a backpack made for cats. Why would they make a backpack where your cat is not be able to breathe in it?
counter. Meteor is blocked out by the Dark Force teleport, meaning that they're trying to go back in. Fincy getting healed up, but that's gonna be what's gonna Relaxing Knights with the clone.
Oh, another big eye. Oh, but doesn't kill anyone with it. Wow, chat.
Relentless. They've got a sliver left, but they're running out of bodies. But the reinforcements are coming so fast.
It's still. Oh, come on, bro. Come on, Insomnia. Come on, Insomnia. Win, bro. Win, win, win. I want Insomnia to win this, chat, so it's not a fucking 2-0. I want it to be a close game.
Nevix has Feast of the Abyss. Where's the Venom? He's trying to find an in into the back.
Oh, Nevix got 2. Uh-oh.
Lurkin goes down. Nocta removed. Fi swaps over to the Strange to teleport back in and make a play with the melee off of the Terror Cape set up from Dreadro. And I believe the Virtus Pro might be able to find A.
Wow, Virtus Pro actually capping that? That is insane, bro. That is insane. Good cap. Hey, it extends the game a little bit. Hey, that was really good. Like I said, chat, I want Virtus Pro to win. I have friends on that team, but like, I want a good series, bro. I want a good series, so I want
that Sentinel has their own thing as Fi is matching. The teams are mirroring.
The teams are mirroring, and we're about to
wait, this is like the first mirror matchup we ever seen. No, the teams are not really mirroring. One team has a Loki, the other team has a Cloak and Dagger. One team also has a Mantis. The other team has a Rocket.
We launched the Wolverine.
Oh, I love it, chat. They're running the Wolverine now. I love it. It's my favorite.
With the Eternal Bond is making sure that they are out of the way of the Wolverine as far from them as they possibly can to keep that ultimate going for the full duration. Terror Cape actually removes Demon from the fight entirely as Solar Resurgence comes out from Saipe, just trying to give Virtus Pro the stability.
Wait, he just airballed.
How long it took to grab A, they can't get slowed down.
No, it is a best of 5. The graphics are right.
That's going to signal Virtus Pro.
A best of 5 means you have to win 3. So if you win 3 games, that's 3 bars. The series is over.
But not yet able to find the targets. It's just the sustain from Insomnia where they're able to duel out. They're still on this rocket with these heavy multiple bodies in the front line using that big repair mode and that, of course, Battle Rebirth beacon to stay in the fight. The majestic demon flying through the air. Fi forced to retreat as they were the one who was caught.
No, I don't want them to be up 2-0, chat.
Available for both sides.
I want it to be like a close, even series. I want it to go to the match. I want it to go to the last match, match 5, chat. I don't want to see a 3-0 or what do you call it? I don't want to see a 3-0.
Still going to be hold on, but it forced the regeneration domain on the end of Insomnia, and that knifed down those precious resources when this fight goes further. Dreadro with the Eternal Bond's going to be able to continue the aggression from Virtus Pro's side. Nevix gets stunned on out, but it's not going to be enough as Insomnia are still able to find the picks, disengaging back into the small room. Sparker has to try and stabilize the team with the Karmic Revival.
Wow, both teams I think just got...
But the Cosmic Yawn Amplifier from Insomnia...
Both team has reses, so you're going to see a lot of reses going on.
It's a matter of inches.
Everyone's grouped up, going in. Fincy finds Relaxing.
Wait, a matter of inches? Oh my god, I didn't know it was that big.
The Karmic Revival from Nocta, who saves theirs for a little bit longer. Forever is back. There's sustaining. Demon finds Fincy and is absolutely wiped on the turnaround. Fi saving their final judgment, their last stand for the turnaround here.
Nice kidnap, bro.
They have cocooned, but numbers are heavily in Virtus Pro's favor. They are mirroring Insomnia with these last second pushes. There are no bodies left. They look for a wraparound. Portal comes in.
Uh-oh, chat. Can they hold it with the last portal, bro? Oh, wow. Wow, that guy got deleted, bro. Crown only. I haven't seen you in a long time, bro. I appreciate the massive tier 3 for 56 months. How you doing?
And now it is going to be Insomnia.
Felt like I haven't seen you in years.
Back to the C point spawns, which is going to give Virtus Pro so much space to be able to push up and ahead, as Insomnia cannot risk losing someone. Demon is off of the Wolverine onto the Punisher, trying to utilize the threat of the turret as well as the CC immunity of it to make sure that Fi on this Wolverine gets scout marked knocked out before the fight can properly start. As we can see, Virtus Pro do have that Eternal Bond, but so far opt not to use it. They're waiting for them to feel truly comfortable that Insomnia are going to be forced apart with so many ultimates, and there it is. Eternal Bond in. Insomnia don't have the space to be able to give to disengage it, and the Terror Cape hits the maximum amount of players on the team.
Doing good, been traveling, just got back. Hey man, I'm glad to hear that.
Give the space, but that means they give the
Come on, Insomnia. All you gotta do is win one team fight, bro. Come on, man. All you gotta do is win one team fight, bro.
But they're topped up. Final judgment for the push-in, and they're gonna commit to it with 23 seconds left. Final judgment on the push. Meteor Rim into the regeneration domain. Doctor has kicked off and it will revive. They've got 93% onto that Karmic Revival. Sparker has theirs and has to drop it because that final judgment did so
Dreama for 23 months. Appreciate it. Wait, they got a res off chat.
Takes out 5 and then brought back with the revive. Forever Meteor M takes out no one. It was a clone. As Sentinel takes out Nevix once again in their second.
No, he killed Saipei, and Saipei got res. That wasn't a clone.
They're running out of members. 5 seconds for Nevix. It's
wow.
Insomnia even up the score.
Insomnia actually tied it, bro. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's a good fucking game, bro.
And we were like, yeah, Insomnia for sure pull Symbiotic Surface.
This is a good fucking game, bro.
Symbiotic Surface. It's the best map.
Yeah, it wasn't a clone. It was a.
It
just didn't show up in the kill feed that that ult actually killed the.
30 seconds they had
the
to
Mantis.
Be able to beat Peps in an overtime, and they got the full push. It is no.
Yeah, bro, come on. Look, Sparker was playing the Psylocke, and he has 26 final hits, bro. You're gonna tell me that the Psylocke for Sparker's not doing anything, bro? 26 final hits, 45 and whatever the fuck he was. That's insane.
Against triple res means that these fights,
yo, millions. Appreciate the massive Prime sub, my friend.
After you find the pick, because you have to account for Cocoon revives, Karmic Revival, staggered plays coming on through, and when you've got one side with a Loki and one side with a Cloak and Dagger, every single bit of those resources can stop an ultimate, can stop a pick from coming through, can win you the fight.
Sparker put on one of the games of their life here. They got 23 KOs there. Just the final hits alone. They exclude like that grand total that they got by contributing across that
Psylocke is doing a lot more, bro, than what you think.
Living up to their name, as we keep saying, because they knew exactly when to swap. When Virtus Pro tried to move into the thing,
he had to swap Psylocke because
Punisher. When they start to try,
just because he swapped Psylocke doesn't mean Psylocke wasn't working.
And deal with anyone on the flag, especially Dridro, as they kept trying to move in with that
Psylocke to go Adam on
an
defense, so they could go
performance by Insomnia on definitely.
Also, you need to go Adam if you're running they were running Adam, and they were also running Mantis. That's their team comp, bro. They're going for the reses.
Yeah, and I mean Insomnia, the entire team as well, making sure that the Punisher finds the value. We saw so many times, especially on C, like Meteor M from Finzi, sent Demon's Way, survives it because Relaxing Nights comes on through with a clutch regeneration domain on the Loki, and gets an amazing God of Mischief copy as well to make sure that the Punisher is fully healed up to be able to forge ahead with that final judgment. Every single player on that team.
Good shit from Insomnia, bro. Good shit from Insomnia. That was good.
Just denied to Virtus Pro on both A and B, that they needed 2 fights total to be able to fully shut down C, and that's exactly what they play for. Final judgment buys them the picks, it grabs them the space back, and VP, they're forced to just invest Karmic Revival in a really bad position where everyone can immediately round the corner and try and put pressure off of it. Dridor is able to peel for somewhat of that space off of a Terror Cape coming on through, and the blind comes out, and Karmic Revival is over 10 meters in front of the player who does get blinded, so they don't see anything that's going on. But Virtus Pro, you can tell like how much troubles they had on C, because they knew that they wouldn't be able to fully
does
regroup,
anyone know in chat?
Will be regrouping with
Can you watch these games like spectating, like instead of do they give out the codes for these games so you can watch? Does anyone know? Like, do they? Okay, so every game that you play comes with a code. You can take that. So I want to know if they have the codes so I can actually go in and spectate who I want to see. Like how I do spectating cheaters or spectating bronze players, chat. Not Ignite? Fuck. I wonder, you would probably have to DM one of the pro players. Or if they have an open profile, then you would look at it through that, yeah. But, oh, you know what? I don't think you can actually watch this tournament because I think they're actually playing on an old patch, so they're probably playing on a what do you call it? A tournament server. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a different client. I don't understand this game mode. I won 12 in a row, and after like a half an hour, I left and it says you're leaving early. Yeah, you have to, everyone starts with like 50 health, and every time you beat someone, I think their health goes down by 3, so you have to beat them a lot. Hold up, Emily is driving in the rain in Florida for the first time, and I had to tell her to put on her lights and max out the windshield wipers. What's up? What are you crying for, huh? Huh? Wanna say hi to chat? Come here. Hiya, baby! It's my baby! Hey. Say that one more time. Tell chat. Did you shit in there or did you pee? Did you shit or pee? Because if you shit or pee, don't sit on my mouse pad, bro. You're disgusting. No, it's not a good cat. If the cat shit or...
Well, so far, our predictions for the day, Tatcha, are bang on the money. Not sure about you all in chat, though. As Virtus Pro versus Insomnia, I know a lot of people are anticipating it to be
nice stretch on my calf.
Sweep, but no. Insomnia dig their heels into the ground and say, we will not give up. We will fight you through overtime after overtime to be able to full push symbiotic surface.
I feel like there's a big ball in my fucking
just
calf,
like the
chat.
Wolverine fastball is fully in Virtus Pro's court. Where do they decide to take us?
This is not a situation that Virtus Pro are unfamiliar with. They have been in this situation where they've lost maps against teams before. Hex, for example, they've made it.
Oh, but what are you doing?
Patapim, Zero Tenacity, Luminosity Gaming.
Yeah, this is a really good matchup.
Losing maps. It's series where we've seen it so rare, which is why it was so exciting when Rad were able to take that victory against them and knock them down into this lower bracket.
Boba's getting used to the other cast, and it's such a fun experience.
Took aspects of it to
so Noodle this morning was actually sleeping between Emily's legs, and Boba was with me, and then he noticed that Noodle was there, so he jumped out and started like
in terms of domination.
And started playing with Noodle, and Noodle was not having it, but they're getting better.
Choose a convoy map to go into for next one.
Yes, but then the map after that one, it can be domination again, Tatcha. It can be domination again.
Okay, chat, where are we going?
Which means that we can potentially see more than 3 maps, and the way that that is going to work is that you can't play the same map type twice. However, when we head to map 4, it essentially gets fully reset. So if you wanted to, you could play a convoy map immediately after this, but more than likely, if Insomnia loses,
they are playing Midtown, a convoy map.
As Virtus Pro decide to take us to Midtown with an Emma ban right off the blocks immediately. immediately. And Insomnia, yet again, going to be saving the Loki from relaxing.
This is lower bracket, yes.
Saving grace.
This is lower bracket finals.
Insomnia's fights. These regeneration domains have been working double, triple time, you could say.
This is the first team that has let Insomnia get onto that Loki. As Relaxing Knights up until now had one of the smallest hero pools of any player, only playing Invisible Woman up until this series from the research that we were able to have a look at. And now getting Loki almost every single game and showing so much power. They have stolen so many of Virtus
Boba is playing on my second monitor,
that it's like they're just essentially playing Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah, and Insomnia too are going to be able to come on through with the actual Loki ban against Virtus Pro. So no God of Mischief coming on through from their backline, as Virtus Pro once again are going to be going for the one-sided Cloak and Dagger. Insomnia target banning out Fire's Torch. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, as we've seen that in that last round of Symbiotic Surface, they were able to deal with Sparker's Psylocke. They weren't able to on Domination, however, though, so I would imagine Virtus Pro are going to want to try to have
I'm actually really, I want to know why Virtus Pro bans the Cloak and Dagger and then stays the Cloak and Dagger. They do the same bans every time.
They have yet to adjust anything from game to game here. Virtus Pro, with their final ban out, is it going to be anything different? Adam.
Bubba, off my keyboard, bro. Off my keyboard. Off my keyboard.
One-sided Adam.
Listen, you can stay right there, but off the
because it's
keyboard.
the advanced pick and bans, which means that if Virtus Pro want to, they can put Sparker on the Adam, so they have options available. If Insomnia are able to deal with the Psylocke, they'll just get to go for the Adam.
Cloakle is the best
play
support.
The Adam right from the get-go. Virtus Pro
no, it's not, but yeah.
First rather than attack, and the Adam composition is an absolute barn burner when it comes to stall potential off of the amount of revives that's available.
It also allows you to just get damage boosts onto potentially a Punisher if that's the route you want to go. Set up a culling turret on that first corner and make it incredibly difficult to break out of spawn without having to commit to something a little bit scary, a little bit scared.
Can you get off my
like
desk?
That Penny Parker rocket hold that we did see earlier on in the tournament, but has fallen off as time's gone on.
I wonder if we could go for it. We saw that Saipo was on the rocket there. And I mean, sometimes, well, in past metas, we would say the rocket is purely for either giving infinite ammo to a Punisher or a Bucky. That team up has since been removed. Or you would use it to give one of your duelists super jump with the cookie packs coming on through. But there has been a meta that has been established fully around mid-tender. You can see Insomnia are actually anticipating, given the fact that they run off originally on the Moon Knight Squirrel Girl with the Mantis for the damage boost. They see that
it depends how your playstyle is, but yeah, I guess you as a GM player knows better than me.
To swap off onto our default composition, it's going to be Nocta coming out on that Ultron and Demon once more in the Punisher's pilot form.
Whereas once again, we are going to be seeing Virtus Pro lead on that Star-Lord. Nevix bringing out the Captain America this time with Fitzy on that Magneto. So they have a little bit of backline pressure.
Eternity and Grandmaster is the same shit.
They've got some protection of their own. And of course, Nocta in the sky. The Invisible Woman with the knockbacks. And of course, that Psionic Force to pull people into a single spot.
Yeah.
It's going to make it a little bit harder for the Captain America
this is Twitch
to
chat
operate
for you.
as freely as they might otherwise like.
True, but they are stalling out the payload's process. Insomnia are getting it over the distance slowly but surely, but Fi has already
Rage bait used to be believable, bro.
Been able to build nearly 80%
Rage bait used to be
the
believable,
first Galactic Legend. Nocta gets sedated by Saipe, so the Ultron isn't able to bail
Grumpy,
them out.
we went on a crazy win streak though, Grumpy.
Ultron targeting the Star-Lord before the Galactic Legend can come through, which is absolutely massive. Fi should be able to self-revive and have Galactic Legend on the field before Forever gets the Meteor M, and the sleep onto the Magneto stops him from utilizing the ultimate at the start of it. But Insomnia with the copy God of Mischief coming on through from Relaxing Knights are able to stabilize the ultimate.
They're able to hold the line, but once again, Virtus Pro, they slow it down here. This has been their strategy. They're not committing to these big hold fights. They're just giving up inches as opposed to meters to give themselves any extra time to try and delay. As Demon will drop that final judgment and is immediately
I hope you're going to cheer for me in the grand finals
actually got finished off by the Terracade.
Yeah, Terracade. Meteor M slam dunks Karmic Revival
now,
spot. Forever knows exactly where they're going to be.
I hope.
Times it just as they come.
I'm gonna cheer against you.
And that should be this fight on a completed. However, Virtus Pro do have a strange teleport recontest play if they want to opt for it. And Nevix too on this Captain America is currently getting body blocked by the Doctor Strange, but he's going to be looking to launch himself onto that payload to buy.
Well, to be honest with you,
coming through with the portal before Insomnia can lock.
I still don't even understand your team name, bro.
Wolverine, realizing that there is this Captain America in the backline. Aya Agamotto comes out, finds absolutely nothing. Great invasion.
Also, there's no way, bro. You're not gonna tell me that Cloak and Dagger is the best support. Nah, I don't believe it, bro.
Virtus Pro are then looking for pickups to try and burst them down. Cypher.
Do you like EOMM or SBMM better? Skill-based matchmaking or
Galactic Legends.
So you're basically saying, do I like Marvel Rivals or Overwatch more? I think Overwatch does SBMM. I don't know. Both are basically trying to force you to be 50-50.
In anticipation of it, he's only finding Vanguards right now. He can't commit into the backline until now. Jay3 gives him the in with the Eternal Bond and gets grabbed out of it by the Wolverine. Goes down.
No, dude, there's no way. I'm not. Dude, Cloak and Dagger gets no, bro.
To that thing to try and lock down Demon with the
if Mag is not banned, then I could see. Then I could see that like Cloak and Dagger is much better. But like if Mag's in the game, bro, and Mag's not getting banned, I think Cloak and Dagger's ass.
Delay with everything they can. The real invisible boundary, not the God of Mischief one, will be set up to try and keep this fight going for Insomnia. Final last stand coming in. Cypher is taken out, but in the meantime, Nevix is deep in the backline.
Freedom Charge versus the Stability of Regeneration Domain. Finzy's back on the
wait, does tomorrow start at the same time? 12? 12 for EU and then 7 p.m. for NA. I can't watch the NA games today because I'm actually doing stuff at my house today with friends.
The Soul Bond comes on through a desperate attempt to get by the damage to both the Galactic Legend before Insomnia bought anything to counter it. Out comes the Veil of Life Force from Jay3 to keep the Vanguard stalling.
Yeah, chat, I'm actually doing something here at the house with friends. Can you believe that? Bro, I love Wolverine, man. I need to get better at Wolverine.
No choice but to throw himself directly onto the payload to contest it, and Demon is licking his lips.
That was a good hold by Virtus Pro though.
Gonna go back to spawn, not gonna let the cocoon keep going, and yet another overtime point grabbed by Insomnia.
No, bro, I have friends coming over, chat. Listen, we are my dad's coming over as well. We are gonna use the barbecue. I bought some big ass fucking tomahawk steaks, and we're gonna play board games.
And they keep swapping Demon. Every time Nevix moves over to the thing, the Punisher comes out. Every time they swap off back to the Captain America, the Wolverine appears. And every time they need to hold a point, the Wolverine comes back to force people off the point. Insomnia are
you know what?
Quick with their versatility as Jay3 is going
I want that guy's I want that guy that who is no. Now you're just lying. No, I want your team to lose, bro. I want your team to fucking lose.
Fine out with the Bulwark gets to come on through and look for latest staggers. Insomnia's A push was slow. 1,000 cuts essentially of payload objective pressure, and now they've been dwindled down to only a minute.
What time is your guys' match tomorrow?
Off of the back of that
7?
early pick onto the Punisher, which is, like you said, now a Wolverine because Nevix is over to the Captain America. Insomnia have one good fight left, and they know that they're not going to get cleanly out of a choke, so a portal play it is. Rage of Ultron comes on through from Nocta at the same time as Lurk and drops the invis boundary to make sure, guarantee that Insomnia all survive the portal. And Virtus Pro just back on.
Jay might be schizo. How am I schizo?
So they can get brought right back into the mix with
you're reading the same chat. You don't even know what time your tournament is. GG's. Oh my god, wait, did he actually hit someone? Nice. Oh yeah, I gotta focus that, bro. I gotta focus that. I'm gonna sit down.
From Forever, if they can land it from Finzy, sorry. Forever on the other side is looking for theirs. They will find Cypher, trading the 1 for 0. Wolverine taking on to Finzy. Cypher returns back to the cocoon from the Adam Warlock, meaning that it's still a 6v6, at least for the moment. Demon pushing on in, tries to
Are you grilling? I'm not grilling, chat.
Too mobile. Demons drops low, leaping into the regeneration domain to buy a
I mean, I kind of want to learn how to grill. I might keep a tomahawk steak for myself so I can try it.
Gives the aggressive play with the Eternal Bond, and Insomnia are running out of space. 10 seconds left.
No.
They don't have the means of dealing with it. One falls if they run from the Galactic Legend. legend. They run right into the crosshairs of Sparker, and because they don't
nice. Come on, Virtus Pro.
Prior, no one
How do you like your steak? There's only one right answer, and it's medium rare.
And activate overtime, and that is
medium the most. If you get well done steak, why do you even eat steak to begin with?
1.100 meters, almost all the way to that back line, all the way to that point.
Bro, you just slapped that shit on the grill. What do you mean you're so basic? Medium rare, bro.
They're sticking with that.
I don't like you.
Looking to pressure.
I hope. No,
that's
toxic saying I hope your team gets 3-0 tomorrow. That's fucking mean.
On this Adam, and
look at this shit, chat.
One-sided is working a little bit better for them than it did for Insomnia.
Look at
Do
this.
Insomnia actually commit to this Namor? It's gonna be rough.
Those are the steaks I bought. Look at that shit. Look at those fat. They're 2.5 to 3.5 pounds.
Proteus, but they might
Each
want
one.
to go for the Namor because they're anticipating Navix on this Captain America just being the cat amongst the pigeons, or I guess the cap amongst the enemy team's backline, and you need something that's going to be able to stop the Captain
How much
America
were they?
from just getting so
I
much
bought it
space
from a
for
place called
Firesparker to do
Wild Fork.
whatever they want to deal with.
This is how
I bought them a few days ago because I think Wild Fork has everything frozen.
In their match versus Rad, they brought out that Namor to try and deal with people diving onto the backline. In their case, it was the Torch playing a little bit further back and the Venom trying to dive. But instead, we'll see them use it for a little bit of a hold. That's a jump scare.
Ooh, I made ribs brisket.
Oh! Once again, expecting a spawn hold, do start off on the Black Widow.
Ooh, but Cypher's the one that goes down instead. Fi doesn't find the
the thing that I have is a wood smoker, so it says like 40 minutes. You cook it for 40 minutes and you wrap it in tin foil for like an extra like 10 minutes or something it says. And then you take it off, you crank the grill to 450 and then you sear it each side. Also, Bills, you're exactly right.
Working with the force physics takes Nevix down, and Virtus Pro have lost the ability to have an off angle into the back line. They know that if they go into the main road fight, they're going to get out-angled by the defense.
Nevix has brought back the Thing, try and lock down the Hulk, stop them from leaping out, as that's what they're doing, diving in, diving out. Demon on that Wolverine, looking for anyone who's isolated. They've been trying to get a couple of these Gamma fastballs. And here is the play from Virtus Pro, wrapping around from behind to try and zone out this high ground position, forcing a removal of the side of Insomnia over to the opposite building.
I don't know how to. This guy's trolling. He doesn't have a. Bro, okay. Now I gotta cheer for your team tomorrow, bro. That's fucked up, man.
Demon gets Earthbound, tries to turn around and dispatch.
I appreciate the massive new tier 1 sub in discreet for 11 months. I appreciate it.
By the continuous pressure that this Namor is able to.
Come on, man. Also, hey, I'm always looking for professional players and very high-ranked players to do content with. Listen, chat, if you're a high-ranked player, or it doesn't even matter what rank you are, join my Discord. We always need players for content. Oh, I love this. I love this.
About to be a monster in the backline that Virtus Pro have to turn around and deal with.
Doing a lot of damage on them, but Nocturne and Forever have both been taken down as finally Virtus Pro are starting to capitalize, creeping on forward, heading towards that point A, meaning it would become a distance game. Demon is chased all the way back, and Fi does not want to give it up, but will not dive into the building, not going to get themselves caught out of position as it comes to Portal. Demon making their way back into spawn so they can rush in to this portal to rejoin. There's the extra invisible boundary to try and buy as much time as possible.
Being a pro gooner does not count now.
This Galactic Legend comes on out, Snipes lurking, and is doing huge work on this backline.
Yeah, the Invis boundary had to be used from Insomnia to cushion the fall out of the teleport, which means that Fi just had to lie in wait for the Galactic.
Why do I feel like Fi is only playing Star-Lord? Is this Virtus Pro's like just team comp? They love going triple res or something?
Difference in time bank in comparison to what
I feel like they always run the same comp and no other team bans against it.
Virtus Pro already moving on up, taking the high ground. Demon going to be over towards that Punisher, trying to just find a pick, buy time for his team to stabilize. Not even going over to the Heller.
He's a Torch Star-Lord 2 trick.
Dual Sparker and Fi, but Nevix and Fi are lying in wait around the corner.
I guess that's nice.
I would rather.
Why don't you just ban Torch and Star-Lord? Then you have to force them on something else now.
By that Soul Siphon, but Nevix, Fincy, Fi taken out. They run into the Punisher, who with the shotgun is holding their yard. hard, trying to take them down. Sparker, they're trying to stagger them to buy extra time. 3 minutes remaining. Every second matters here. And Insomnia, look at how long they're going to leave this.
That is a crazy stagger, bro.
It's not a matter
Too bad
of
he could res himself.
It's stay on it for as long as we
So he
possibly
really doesn't
can,
actually
'cause we
stagger.
need to buy the time back after losing that fast. Sparker actually is committing the cocoon instead of revisiting the spawn room. They've got Karmic Revival. They've also got Eternal Bond. They want to go now as Noctis slows the push down. Goddess of Death denies, and the team's been split. One made it all the way to the high ground, and the rest still stuck behind. They can't go until Goddess of Death has burned through, but that's allowed Insomnia to stabilize a position for Demon with that final judgment to be the finger threat. Virtus Pro have to worry about. Finzi with the Bulwark survives the force physics as Dridro and aggressive Eternal
That's
Bond
actually crazy that he went off the high ground and was able to go right back on the high ground. I didn't know you could do that with Cloak.
Is going to lock down Nevix as they move in with the invisible boundary. Final judgment from Demon.
Dude, Insomnia has to win this. If they don't win this, GG's. Oh, good shit. Good shit.
These fights, but
Virtus Pro still has 3 ults for the next team fight. Insomnia only has
that Eternal Bond
1.
Once again, all they have left is Meteor M. 46% on Goddess of Death, 35 on Aya Wakamoto, 21 on
Did you compete, Jay?
Compare that to Virtus Pro.
I was a pro in Overwatch, but no, bro. I'm 30 years old now, man. I'm old.
Galactic Legend, all at the ready, and they only need to push another 6 meters.
Yeah, Nevix is over to the Captain America to provide threat on that objective and also into that backline. Fire's already been able to dispatch the Punisher. Can now look for the backline itself. Galactic Legend comes on through, gets absorbed by Meteor M. The Magneto also getting the Guardian Shield to be able to fall back onto. Regen
nice kill in the back on the Loki. Yeah, I think this is GG's, chat. I think there's a GG's. Virtus Pro is up 2-1. That was a good game, though. That was a good game.
They just had to slowly inch that payload closer and closer.
Also,
to the
I don't know, but
I
think if you're playing in this tournament, I don't think you can stream your own POV. Chat, I'm a streamer, bro. If I can't stream whatever I'm doing, I don't want to do it.
And the revive composition could come on through, swing the first stage of a fight. If it goes south, it's okay. You've got the reses. You can out-sustain your opponent.
You can.
An incredible state, like I said, the
POV?
one-sided Adam for those outside states just keep.
But you're gonna have to do it on probably a 3-minute delay.
And they were winning fights, but you can only win so many fights if your opponent is infinite. Consistently coming back, consistently piling on the pressure. 20 KOs for the side of fight.
Looked like a really close game, though.
For Nocta,
surprised that the other team had still. What do you call it?
Try and turn this round.
Surprised they still had like 2 minutes remaining or some shit.
How many of these Aya Wakamotos did land? Well, the Media M's were
no, you don't. Wait, no, you don't have to have a delay. You don't have to, bro. Then that promotes stream sniping and whatnot. And you probably have to like not be able to use your Discord because, or mute your Discord because I'm pretty sure a lot of people. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna like know your comms or whatnot. Chat, bro, to be honest with you, when I played on Renegades a long time ago, we didn't stream our games or we didn't like have our like Discord playing because like you know who's like your main target caller and all that stuff, and people would actually focus your target caller so they can't make anything.
That would normally break the camel's back when you look at the damage that the Strange can do with follow-up of that Maelstrom of Madness. Virtus Pro just adapting, out-adapting. We knew that this
Salem
series
Spine,
would
I
be
appreciate
a
that's a new tier 1 sub.
That these
and
two
Galaxy for 21 months,
appreciate
it.
Continuous changes, and we're getting to see it live in play. Demon just back and forth, Nevix back and forth, Sparker back and forth. Now we have to see where the coin lands. Is it going to be a domination map that Insomnia decide to take us to, or do they flip the script entirely and take us to another map?
We've still got some good convergences and convoys like that, although we did just see the convoy getting dropped here. So potentially if convergence is an option, we have Dracula's
what's
Castle.
Up? I appreciate you watching the YouTube,
but we'll
my friend.
have to find out as we're going to be heading to a quick break. And when we return, we will see if Insomnia can create the resurgence versus Virtus Pro, or if Virtus Pro will punch their ticket to the group finals. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
No. Insomnia's not out. It's a best of 5, so whoever wins 3 maps, it's 2-1. It's 2-1 right now for Virtus Pro. But you know what? To be honest with you, Insomnia, I think since they really like those close, tight corridor maps, like the symbiote map, I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably play on the new Krakoa map, maybe. feel like that's the type of vibe that they like. I think you guys have to follow a, I think they have to follow a map pattern though. Because I heard the caster saying as soon as you play a domination, you can't play a domination again. Or something like that. Are you gonna play after Jay? I don't think I'm gonna play Marvel Rivals, no, depending on how long this takes. I might play a little bit of Expedition 33. Oh, you're such a cute cat, bro. You're such a cute cat. Is Expedition 33 fun? That game is by far one of the most fun games I've played in a while, yeah. When was the last time you actually played 33? Probably like a week ago. I wanted to play this week, but to be honest with you, the tournament and the drops, hey, streams have been fun. Didn't think I would have so much fun co-streaming this game, but... Is there any way I could get into the Discord without verifying my number? It's already linked to an account I don't have access to. I have no idea, man. Probably not. Probably might have to use a different number. Do you still work out? Yes. I keep seeing your stream saying Expedition 33 later and it's just 9 hours of Rivals. Bro, I want to play. It's just that, listen, I can't switch streams if the streams are popping, chat. Also, I have not finished Act 2, so don't spoil it, chat. Don't spoil it. Or him saying that he was gonna play Overwatch tomorrow every day. Oh my, I had to play chat. I didn't know the tournament was gonna have exclusive drops and all this shit, bro. Listen, my bad, bro. Why do you guys hate me? I'm playing Overwatch all next week anyways. Actually, there's finals for this game. I kind of want to watch the finals for fuck chat. I don't know what I want to do, bro.
Virtus.pro now one map away from securing their spot in that group finals and getting that higher seed. But Insomnia have been taking them to the limit over and over again. But they just can't seem to tip it over the edge sometimes. As this case, Virtus.pro were able to lock them down.
Yeah, I mean, it really does feel like Insomnia are a very, very strong team. Like, a lot of people have slept on them, but they have significant potential. And we're getting to see, like, there are fights where they are just overwhelming Virtus.pro, but then Virtus.pro have the read. They understand, like, okay, this is going to be your side advantage
I
at the
troll
beginning
some
of
streamers
the fight,
for fun, but Jay3 is too wholesome to troll.
Don't manage to find any picks on our side, we can come through and win the second stage. And
don't
that's
troll me,
sort
chat.
of how you play
Don't troll
triple
me.
res, which, I mean,
I'll
makes sense.
break
They
your
were on
legs.
triple res composition. Now that you're Insomnia, when we move into the picks and bans, even when you move into the map type, do you take us somewhere where you want to go for that triple res mirror? Do you just try and ban out the Sparker Atom yet again? But one thing that we're unfortunately not getting to see are some heroes that were in play for Season 1 and have since disappeared in Season 2, but you can still play them and you can still find a lot of value with them, with our wonderful cosmetics to drip before viability is my motto of choice, and these skins are absolutely dripped out. Iron Fist, Binary Fist, and Moon Knight Phoenix Knight are in the game score.
I
right
sold my
now.
legs for
If you boot
Elo.
up the game, you will be able to purchase them.
The sun haunts you with the Phoenix doing huge damage from that Moon Knight, making everything on fire. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And then, of course, the Binary Fist, the Binary Magneto looks gorgeous. This skin is no different. The Binary is ones and zeros. The one is punch. The zero is also punch. It's just so strong. We even saw a little bit of Iron Fist at the start of Season 2, but Season 2.5, it fell out a little bit. But we've been seeing a couple teams, including Low9, for example, swap onto it for the fast fast rollouts, and the fact it's one of the more sustainy divers in terms of the melee duelists when everything else has already been taken to at least try to hold a point in overtime.
Yeah, sustain definitely feels like a good segue to talk about what we think is going to be what Insomnia decide to do against Virtus.pro. Because Virtus.pro won Midtown. Insomnia now get the opportunity to take us to any map type. The BO5s, the rules, the maps coming on through mean that if we go into map number 4, it gets reset entirely. The order is fully now reset to take us either to a convergence, a convoy, or a domination.
Wait, what? J3, were you the happiest when you were on esports and young, or right now and playing whatever you want?
To convergence, whole of Dejalia is where they
I don't know, bro. I think I was happiest both
times and continue to be able to match wits up into that grand final.
And so far the drafts remain pretty much the same, starting with these Emma bans. Insomnia now with their chance to protect. They've been putting a lot of protection onto this Loki, and this game will be no different. This
you cannot compare Overwatch
protection onto the
to Marvel Rivals player count. Who the fuck uses Steam to play Overwatch? You use the Battle.net client. No one uses Steam, bro.
On through. As both of these teams do like having options. Like
you cannot compare the both games player count.
And then the other team adapts, and then they have to go and readjust. Has been very much the storyline of the series thus far. As Virtus.pro will be able to secure a Magneto for their side. Insomnia are going to have to be choosing what they want to ban out, but Magneto is going to be kept out of their ban.
Battle.net does not suck, chat.
Virtus.pro with the
J3, why do you have so many YouTube channels? Are you struggling to pay rent?
Does continue as once again they've let it through.
If you don't know why I have a lot of YouTube channels, then I think you will never understand it unless you're a content creator. Unfortunate, man.
So far, they have given over that cloak and dagger almost every single time, and it looks like that might continue as they look at that torch again instead of the cloak and dagger. There's just
also, yeah, 30K on Overwatch is pretty high for even Overwatch.
When you know that these are such big priorities.
Well, you said it yourself, right? Relaxing Knights has had God of Mischief up so many times, they might as well be playing Cloak and Dagger. However, that Terror Cape, that 12-second cooldown cycle of it, has been one major factor in bailing out Virtus.pro in these long overdrawn fights between the two. We're having that 28%
yo, the Red Cross! I appreciate the massive Prime sub. Welcome, welcome.
To absolutely
wait, massive. I appreciate it.
The ultimate's on around 2 sustain.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys are saying Battle.net sucks. It's literally
going to be saved.
I don't understand how people say it sucks. You just launched the game.
Now have to think about what they want to try to remove. Sparker, by the way, Psylocke has also been able to get
through. Us 5 months and disgraceful for 47 months. I appreciate it.
Remove the Adam Warlock from rotation.
Hold up, sorry, did I miss anything? It looks like they did the same bans and the same saves. The same bans and the same saves, and it looks like they're gonna run the same comp. Bro, they never changed their comp, so this looks like it's the meta comp, chat.
They really do still believe in this. Virtus.pro, they think they may have found the secret source. Removing the Golden God, taking away Adam that we've seen Insomnia get so many revives with, and then picking it for themselves. They love this Star-Lord composition.
If it ain't fixed, don't damage boost. If it ain't broke, don't fix, I guess.
It is so hard to get rid of.
Yeah, Insomnia, though, might be adding a Storm to the mix. Lightning might be slightly on the horizon alongside a 12% allied damage boost when the Goddess boost comes on through. Potentially, they're going to use this for Demon to try to match against Sparker, who, like you said, is going to be getting a lot of resources alongside Fi funneled into them with the sheer amount of damage boost that Virtus.pro's composition and backline can output.
The intergalactic empire of Wakanda could see a grand finalist crowned as they have to make their way in with that Bast statue. Defenses will have to be set up by Virtus.pro at this early stage.
I need a sub on Twitch so I can get the drops without the ads. I mean, if you're watching on Twitch, if you're watching on YouTube, just pull up the Twitch stream and then go watch on YouTube. Just mute the tab.
To siege on in with a Guardian Barrier, they're going to try and weaken the defense.
You do know that, right?
Using that Storm damage boost.
Yeah, Nevix actually scouted out that it was a portal play though, so everyone from Virtus.pro just takes.
Oh, I really like that. And, scout it. If they go through the portal, then everyone like backs up.
Insomnia say if you're not using it, we absolutely absolutely will.
up, Lindsay?
And they move in. They're going to be pretty hard though to rewrite as Virtus Pro with the Soul Bomb already sends Fi in with that Blaster Barrage. Everyone gets tethered up by Nevix. They take Fi down, but he'll be back in a matter of moments with the Cocoon coming on through. And Insomnia now being boxed into a very small space with not a lot of angles to hide away. But Demon is still finding these.
Come on, Insomnia. Chat, we got a root for Insomnia here, so I can go 2-2. I want to see a map 5. If this goes to a map 5, that's going to be so fucking cool.
Well, but it does work. When you're not going to be looking at this Mantis or at this Cloak and Dagger, then you might as well add some extra DPS with the Storm, who's also able to just clean up as well. You have now opened up your options for that Omega Hurricane. Even with an interesting roll-out, roll-back. I don't know what that is.
He was trying high ground. He was trying to get high ground, but he clipped his body ever so slightly into the wall. There we go. It's fine. We've got 2 zip lines. Doesn't matter.
Nova, I'll give you mod if you ban Jasmine first.
What we are going to be seeing is the final judgment.
And keep her banned.
Trying to send Fi into the mix to just get Demon off of this god angle right now, and he's just getting the full pocket. Guardian Shield Strangers up there too, making sure that nothing is going to be able to pressure this Punisher off before Insomnia decide to start the fight.
A Loki firing squad, a Doctor Strange, a Guardian Barrier. This is a painful area. They're going to try and force a mispositioning here using this Omega Hurricane. Not going to find anything, so just has to use it for a reposition. That is unfortunate, thanks to that Eternal Bomb being burned so early. But here comes the Media M not finding the pickup, allowing Demon full freedom to counter push in.
Bro, Virtus Pro is getting rolled right now. Uh-oh.
On in towards point number 2, but the Galactic Legend and that Soul Rejuvenation and that Karmic Revival.
What a sleep. Wow, what a sleep.
Huge sleep comes out.
Good fucking, good retake by Virtus Pro.
The vulnerable targets as they come through from that Karmic Revival state. Virtus Pro strike them back. They will return, but stronger. Insomnia denied, deprived of a fast beam momentum snowball. Going to have to now try and find a way of getting Demon once more into a much harder position to be able to take, as Virtus Pro have already got the
forgot
estate
where I was
of the
wondering where
high
the
ground,
cat
but
was.
not
He's right here
with
sleeping.
That goddess boost is something that Virtus Pro have to be vigilant of.
Verticality added thanks to the map. They can now try and get up onto that high ground themselves without having to use that zipline, which does still remain in place, but now anyone can follow up if needed. Forever going to be pushing up to the inner high ground of the center tower to make some space, to use that Seraphim Barrier, the Doctor Strange Shield, to create openings, to give the protection that allows Storm to creep on up with the lightning strikes.
Omega Hurricane's already been built on the side of Nocta. Insomnia don't want to give up the space that they've been able to buy. Out it comes, right onto Virtus Pro's back line. It's early in the fight. The strategists are stacked.
Bro, I feel like that ult is not as good as everyone thinks it is. I don't know. Every time I see a Storm use their ult, they're using it to like get a support ult out, and they just like, or they just fall over and die.
Demon just has to survive. The final judgment for this next fight should be the answer that Insomnia are looking for, and Virtus Pro know that the Punisher is holding that ultimate. They've got to stagger out these picks for as long as they possibly can, so that when the portal comes on through from Forever, it's going to be lacking a Loki behind it.
2 minutes and 17 seconds remaining. We see Insomnia. They choose to go with the slow roll. Wait for the Loki to appear. They burn Regeneration Domain, but it will be back very shortly as they wrap in from behind. High ground taken by Nevix to look for anyone as they come through that portal to go for a bit of a punish. You'll see Star-Lord hovering on the periphery, waiting for any ambushes. They make their way into the invisible boundary with the final judgment. Meteor End, can they time it with the block? It is just going to get...
Oh, come on, Finzi. You had that, bro.
The second that they saw that portal come through, already isolated himself from the fight.
Nevix popping off though.
The abyss comes through after Invis boundary has expired, and Virtus Pro still have.
What a fucking hold by Virtus Pro, bro. They were getting rolled this whole fucking way, and then they just suddenly had one stop with 2 meters remaining, and now they're just holding it.
They can't get back onto their
I love how they show you the
position.
stat line in the middle of the game as well.
Virtus Pro have completely locked themselves down to make sure that Insomnia cannot break this line. As such, we do see a swap. Sentinel will be bringing out the thing to try and just lock down Fire and Nevix, prevent the backline dive, and of course give that extra protection to Storm or Demon with that embattled leap and the Stone Aegis for the extra protection.
Insomnia think they found the answer against the dive, but here's the thing. Forever comes through with the Meteor M almost getting built up to match 5's charge, but it's Nocta that they're looking at right now. Omega Hurricane needs to force Virtus Pro's position. Eternal Bond is out on the field for Dridro. Relaxing Knight's copying it, but the Magneto gets pressured out. Fi understood who would be targeting him potentially.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, I would fly
down
and actually get that mega, but I guess he didn't need to.
Insomnia denied another fight, but it only
And they're oh my god, they're staggering this poor guy. Yeah, that skin that thing is wearing, chat, I don't like it, bro.
And Forever's taken off of the Magneto onto the Captain America because Insomnia have been not got that strange portal. They need the Captain America to tap to activate overtime, and that's exactly what Virtus Pro are more than happy to play. The time bank is firmly in their favor as they've still got Karmic Revival in play.
Cap will touch the point. This will give them the overtime as everyone else makes their way into touch. Every person who goes down now, you'll see them swap onto fast rollout characters to give them the turnaround. Nocta is going to be playing the game of chicken, coming in with that Omega Hurricane and the final judgment. They're just going to go for overwhelming presence, and it's working, but Sparker has hidden in the corner. Karmic Revival as they wait out the remainder of the final judgment. Immediately, Demon up to the high ground, cunning turret to try and buy every extra second as that car makes its way forward. Fincy finishing off.
I love Punisher, bro.
The feast from the abyss, forcing them off the point, taking
out and the
balls, while Demon is getting flagged by Fi.
Damn, Nevix is just cleaning up the fucking fight, bro. Diving the supports, diving the guy on the high ground. That was a good hold. I think that was like a 5-minute hold. I think that was a 5-minute hold from Virtus Pro. That's crazy, dude.
4 meters.
Oh, res comp. Oh, res comp.
I want to see them rocky ass cheeks.
Because
Meg, can I ban you? Thoughts?
Get a little bit of space. They just come right back, and there's nothing that you can do.
Oh, here, Meg, I'm gonna send you something as well. Here, look, ready?
From the torch to be able to keep a track of.
I don't know if I sent this to you.
Karmic Revival spot could be coming from, but no, Insomnia, unfortunately, just having to put the Storm into play so that they have the damage boost to potentially match up against the break points that Virtus Pro have with the Mantis and the Cloak and Dagger on their side.
Dridro is going for penny bombs from the spawn.
I sent you 2 videos. I don't know if I sent it to you yet. Hi, Jay. Hello.
I don't know how much of this is going to make it out, but look out for that feed to see if anyone from Insomnia gets caught by this.
Surely no.
Hello, Jay. First time watching your stream. I had to play with you before in Rivals. Hey, what's up, my friend? What's up? What's up?
I would assume, given the composition,
hopefully it was a good experience playing with me.
Everyone on the side of them.
Is the barbecue prepared and everything? No, I gotta take the meat out at 5 o'clock. Also, I just want to let you guys know. Yeah, I got a fridge. This morning I woke up early. I went to go buy a fridge for my garage, and I also bought a little like wine cellar thingy, and then that fucking doesn't work, so I gotta return that shit.
You do have to worry about being jumped on by a strange portal, so we can already see that Insomnia are playing everyone very much close to home.
Fi has started with a Spider-Man. They might be looking.
You gotta take your meat out at 5 o'clock. Yeah, at 5 o'clock on stream, I'm just whipping my shit out.
Once again, on the thing to try and punish, and that will force Fi back onto the Star-Lord. But to be fair, it's been working extremely well for them. As Demon forced down to the low ground. They're going to try and push on in. Virtus Pro taking a lot of damage up there, but they of course have the building to retreat into.
What a huge soldier from Nocta.
Wait, why did I get a few follows when I said I was going to whip my shit out?
Rocketing towards this first Eternal Bond, and there's no one-shot potential on the side of Insomnia. They're going to be able to use it to forge aggressively off of the high ground right into Insomnia's entire forces, and that's going to include point possession as well. Terror Cape comes on through. Nocta is forced back. They have to try and stabilize. Finzy's even on the Captain America just to have the disruption factor against Insomnia, but Relaxing Knight has also been able to keep a pace with the ultimate charge. Out comes the God of Mischief. Their own Eternal Bond has now been forged, and Saipe has to answer back with the Soul Resurgence. The heal on it, so not enough to win the
No, this Punisher skin that this guy's using is the best Punisher skin.
Absolutely do, and Demon is forced into invest in the
nice kite though when the guy popped his ult.
Ultimate trade that Virtus Pro are more than happy to make.
No, this is the best
Virtus Pro burned
That's
everything, and Insomnia backed away. They were able to survive it all. Then Insomnia pushed back Virtus Pro. They traded 1 for 1, and then backed up after burning this big cooldown. And that is where they are struggling, burning this huge cooldown, while Virtus Pro are just about to hit that Galactic Legend. Nocta will just be sniped out the sky if they try to move in here. Meteor M to absorb at least some of it, and will snipe Cypher as they take down Vi. That is huge for Insomnia as they push on, inducing that invisible boundary. Karmic Revival will have to be burned inside that central building.
Yo, Insomnia has a good defense right now.
The rest of their team is cleaned out, so they have to regroup, heal up, make their way in, and they get Dendro.
That's huge! Goddess of Death comes through from Nocta directly.
Yeah, nice job by Nocta. I want to be able to like take more videos and whatnot, because the process of this cat being friends with Noodle and Sushi is one of the most adorable things I've ever seen. I think it's because of his personality. He chases the cats, but also at the same time, like he doesn't like pressure them. He goes over there and he'll lay on his back, showing the belly. It's a cute experience, and he moves so slowly when I'm trying to pet her.
Is going to have the final judgment, and Dribble burned the Eternal Bond. Soul Resurgence might have to be stacked with the Freedom Shot.
How old are they? The two older girls are 7 and 5, but he's 2 months old.
The Venom, but the force physics from Lurkin forces them backward, and the final judgment is here.
They've gone for the clone once again. Relaxing Knights onto the cloak, and Dagger goes for the Dark Force teleport to get up to the high ground to see if they can catch anyone out of position. And it's a lot more cooldowns going to be burned by Insomnia once again.
40 seconds, chat.
They've held this at 1/3. They burn
40 seconds, bro.
Almost every time, but they still have clobbering time. They almost have Media M again, and they are keeping Virtus Pro back.
Navic's Piece of the Abyss, though, is something that you have to be worried about. So too is Pi, all the way on this off angle. Slowly but surely building up that next Galactic Legend. Taipei is starting to go a little bit low, but they have to worry about the Star-Lord. That Blaster Barge has already been able to build up Galactic Legend far faster than Meteor M. And Virtus Pro can double down in this fight before Insomnia have the answers. And Invis Boundary gets used on the point itself for Insomnia to buy themselves the space to build those counters up. And the Galactic Legend
oh my god, the counter ulter. Oh my god, Forever 77, bro. I hope they win. I hope they win. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, Insomnia. You guys gotta get this. Get a TP going. Get a TP going. Wait. Oh no, Virtus Pro with the fucking fat res, dude. Get a TP down. Get a TP down. Come on, relaxing. Relaxing Knights. Go, 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 go. Is that TP down? Oh no, they didn't get the TP down, chat. It's fine. That was a really good hold by Insomnia. They only have to hold 2.5 minutes all of second phase. This is doable.
One pick against the Punisher, who had final judgment. The thing that Insomnia needed.
This is doable, chat. This is doable. This is doable.
From moving forward, aggressively taking the spaces.
Remember,
and Nevic's already into an angle
what Insomnia needs to do, and you guys are probably going to think of the most basic strat, but it's just chat. It's not a basic strat. Insomnia. Listen, they're down 2-1. They're down 2-1 right now. The games are hard, obviously, right? But they need to get harder than the game, dude. When the game gets hard, you gotta get harder. They're not getting hard right now, bro.
Retro is showing exactly. They're not done. They're zoning. They're spawn camping them.
They're literally being spawn camped right now, bro.
They're showing exactly why this Cloak and Dagger has become the key character of this stage. As the car moves on in, Sentinel will make their way back in Earthbound with the Galactic Legend. Not yet available, but 94% of the way through. Media M getting blocked out by the Iron Bulwark.
No way, chat. No way, bro. I mean, I'm happy Virtus Pro won. They're my friends. That's awesome. But, like, at the same time, I wanted a good game, chat. I wanted the game to go to match 5 and be a fucking nail biter.
Hold of A into Karmic Revival, and then from there, it's just fully in Virtus Pro's hands. I mean, I say that. It's fully in Trid Pro's hands. That is one of the most aggressive Eternal Bonds that I have ever seen. But the space that it brought the payload to just keep trucking along, and in the meantime everyone from Insomnia is panicking, having to deal with a Cloak and Dagger in the backline, who, by the way, almost did as much damage as Sparker on the Adam Warlock.
just cleaning up the damage boosts, the assists, and then flanking into the backline. They only really got countered once by
watching
Demon
this tournament makes me really want to play Marvel Rivals.
It was just trying to match it with the Loki, which, let's be honest, Relaxing Knights did an insane job, but you can't beat the original.
I mean, yeah, Trigger every 12
Hello?
seconds, Terror Cape. And every single time, too, they coordinated perfectly. When we were watching Fi's POV to go into the blaster barrages, he was getting the bulwark from Finzi. The Terror Cape was directed at the target of focus that the Star-Lord was staring down. They had some amazing combinations where they would utilize the fact that Demon was so static
dude,
in their
Insomnia played really well, bro.
I'm
so sad that they actually lost that. They played so well.
Demon standing. And I mean, this comic revival, too, coming on out. Nevix going over to the Venom as well to make sure that Demon is denied the angle that can potentially be used in overtime to buy the space back for everyone to trade some through out of their spawn. Like, Virtus.pro just had such a good read of the situation. There was a little bit of a struggle on A, but teams struggle on A if you don't manage to find the point off of the first fight.
Yeah, they lost, chat. I don't know if they make it onto the next phase, but this was the lower bracket finals. I don't know if they already moved on though.
In the back, like,